And I even played the wrong intro tonight. I'm telling you guys, I am so far behind. It's not even funny. Welcome to the CAF update. Of course, it's the episode 137. That's a lot. But yeah, it's been one of those kind of days, everybody. But and it's going to be a long show tonight. I'm going to guarantee you that without any question. I've got several videos to play. Went to that the Frazetta Museum and saw the Pratt and Martin exhibit on Sunday. There, of course, is recap from the Comic Art Con we've got. Marcus sent me a little clip from his best of trophy. So we've got a lot of little video clips to review today. And on top of everything, we're going to start things off with an auction recap covering really, the last three prominent auctions that we've seen, which was, of course, ComicConnect ending on Monday, ComicLink last Wednesday, and the Heritage International Signature Auction that ended Friday through Sunday. So my guest this evening, and of course, Nick is out getting a ginger ale. I'll bring Dino in for the moment. Hey, Dino. How are you?
Friends. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Hey, Bill.
Nice to see you. We haven't shared screen time in a while. I mean, the last recap. We need to do this a little more often.
This is it's always good to see everyone in the chat. Happy to be here. Happy to share some thoughts on these auctions, and we're doing recaps of these three, and there's another one just around the corner, and there's another one, a couple in the summer.
It's never ending. I mean, what is the next Heritage Signature Auction starts
30th, March 30th.
Yeah. Well, it ends. It does. It already started.
It's already started.
When it ends.
Hey, right. Nick, how you doing, buddy?
I just
good. You know what I realized?
What's that?
I got to stop wearing tight shirts because I kind of look like a Rob Liefeld Captain America drawing. only the wrong parts of my chest are bigger.
So you got to stand sideways and puff out.
You got to get, or maybe angle the camera from above you. That's what you.
Yeah, I think you're actually inclined up.
Yeah, you're
makes you look domineering.
Do that.
The camera adds 20 pounds per breast.
Oh, I would never have said that, but you can't take that back now.
No, I can't. Listen, we'll just keep it between us. It's not like somebody can watch this again. It's all good.
That's right. On public YouTube. I hope everyone's doing well out there.
Yes, I hope so as well. It's like I say, I've actually had a very productive day, although it was very busy, and I've got a busy day. Everybody knows I'm trying to plan that showdown here for next February, so I've got another venue to check out tomorrow. So hopefully within the next few weeks, I'll be able to nail down the location of the event and have a lot more details for that. I know we've got a few things related to that we hope to announce middle of next month. So,
and when we originally planned this, right, we thought we were going to be a party of 5, and looks like it's just 3 of us today. But
then there was a trademark infringement from the TV series, so we had to cut it down to 3.
Well, someone's out in Mexico.
Yes, Albert did say that he will be available for the Heritage recap that we do the first Tuesday in April. So
awesome.
Yeah, and if Albert's going to be there, Mike's probably going to be there. So that'll be an interesting show. We don't get the 5 of us together often enough. Oh, look, Rick Welch is calling us the Three Amigos.
Nice.
He said, you guys, I was not going to do it.
Classic show.
I'm going to have to work on that. So why don't let me see. I actually have to get the screens all loaded up here for us, but so we're gonna starting with the ComicLink auctions. Okay, I think that's
why are you loading that? I mean, 3 auctions, 3 different auction houses within a week of each other.
A week,
and it really just seemed like nothing phased. I mean, with the SVP, the bank crisis and inflation and all that thing going on, and some pressure and other collectibles, comic art just churns right along and surprises us with some really strong results, particularly for the primo pieces. So that was my theme, by the way. That was what I take away from these auctions. I thought, maybe there's some hiccups here, but no, it's storming right along. So our hobby's pretty solid.
Well, I think for the most part that's 100% accurate. I mean, I think the percentage of things that fell between the cracks on these auctions was probably less than 8%. And so if it's stuff that you wanted, you might have gotten a good deal. But falling between the cracks only counts if it's something you want.
That's
Not
right.
anything you want. It doesn't count. It doesn't matter. So
I would agree. I mean, I felt the same way as far as the Primo stuff still going really, really strong, and everything else either holding pretty. A couple pieces I saw maybe were a little lower than I would have expected them, but by and large, everything is still holding pretty, where we would expect. But,
Right.
I won't say which, but there is one piece that made me cry that I picked. So
can't wait for that one. And hats off to ComicLink and ComicConnect. I mean, just they were getting some very, very premium pieces that they always get them, but it's good to see diversity in the hobby. I mean, we all know Heritage gets their lion's share of those pieces, but it's good for the hobby to have it spread out.
Look at what Marcus wrote about things falling between the cracks. We have blinders.
Oh, we have blinders. Yes,
that's right.
That is very true.
And just to let everybody know, because tomorrow, just for those people who watch the Friday show, I'll be wearing red pants tomorrow. Marcus shamed me into it.
Wait, why not green?
Because I wore red pants one day and I wouldn't let them see me. So I dashed out while I dashed out of the room while they were doing the show, and they moved the camera quickly and they glimpsed it. So ever since then, I said the only way I'll wear red pants if somebody donates $1,000 to a charity. I said I'm not going to do what Anthony did, which is wear pants under diapers, but I'll wear my red pants.
There you go.
And then at the Bishara show, Marcus wore a George Perez shirt that he bought for one of our shows, and
the Aloha shirt. Nice.
Yeah.
I gotta wear my red pants now.
Okay,
I gotta give in. Let's see. What did red pants first, green pants the next time? Marcus didn't ask for green pants. Oh man.
Well, if you were the crotch goblin, you're all set. You're green, perfect for the
exactly.
holiday.
Well, in that case, I'm definitely not wearing green.
No, leave that. We'll leave Anthony for wearing green next time if he wants.
But let's get the show on the road.
How you want to do this, Bill?
Well, we'll do it like we talked. We'll go 3 pieces per gentleman, and we'll start off with you, Dino.
That's not my piece.
Nope. I'm just switching it around. There we go.
All right.
Here we go. Sorry.
Okay, this is a Fantastic Four 169 cover. Absolutely, it was the highlight of the one of the highlights of the auction. This went for $83,000, and I know it was in high demand, and I wasn't expecting it to go that high. I thought tops 55, 60, but you look again, these 70s fantastic mainline covers for Fantastic Four. You have just that huge image of the Thing. All Fantastic Four represented, plus Power Man. I think also the composition of the cover with a Thing there. It's also Senate ink, so he always tends to get premium because of the way he draws, particularly the Thing. There's no doubt this was going to go pretty high. I don't think the people I talked to, I didn't really expect it to go in the 80s, but looking back and you see what some of the other ones have been going for in the 40s and 50s, paying up for something like this, I think, I could see someone falling in love with this. You have all four represented, which you got a full team cover, but just that, I just love the way that he positioned the battle, right? The FF versus Power Man in the Thing's hands. You just get an awesome image, and I think the dark black background actually helped because the piece just looks marvelous straight up. But again, very aggressive price. 2 bidders, or at least 2 bidders, were really strong after. Remember, ComicLink, it's kind of a snipe thing. You put it in at the end and see where you land. And obviously, there's at least 2 bidders that were bidding straight up to the 75 plus. So.
Yeah, I agree. I think for me, I like the image as well because it's like that classic cover where you put the actual combatants in a character's hand. We've seen it with so many different characters. It's just a fun image in that respect too. So I was drawn to the cover as a composition and just the way it was drawn in that way. But yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Honestly, was in the 50 to 60 range. So surprising result, but again, it's a gorgeous cover.
I do think that there is one advantage to there not being juice, in that it makes some people more comfortable going higher.
Oh,
So,
good point. Good point.
Yeah.
And now ComicLink's the only one that doesn't have, the premium attached, or at least, ComicConnect's now doing 15%, and Heritage has theirs.
ComicConnect is letting, I mean, I don't think this is a secret, and if it is, I apologize. What ComicConnect is now doing is they're letting the consignor decide. Do you want to give us 10% or
10% off the,
or do you want all the money and we'll charge 15%? So it could go either way, and depending on the piece, I mean, 10K per finger. It really, on a lot of levels, just the strength of this piece, and when you, like you said, when you look at what the Perez went for in Heritage,
why not
months ago.
So I think that's going to be a thing. And, these key pieces, they get so much visibility. They're on the front of the catalog, or at least they're highlighted, and now the previews on this channel. People see the high bids early on. I mean, this was already at 19,000 before it even got to the last day.
And then it popped. And then it popped.
Yeah.
By the way, everybody, hit that thumbs up. I can't see how many people
are
hitting it, but please do.
Yes, we can always use more thumbs up on this thing. Thank you, everybody. But yeah, no, I never think about that, Nick, but I'm sure that the buyer's premium always is in the back of everybody's, head. I mean, you know what it is when you're bidding over at Heritage, right? Because during the live bidding, you know what the bid is, but what the buyer's premium is. So it's something that's always going to be a part of your decision making. And it's absolutely right. If you don't have it here, it gives you a little bit more freedom to bid and not feel like you're encumbered by, a fee after the fact.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll end with this comment that I'm sure a lot of people will appreciate. It actually feels better as a bidder or a collector if you miss a piece and you got blown out by 25,000 than it does if you lose it by one increment.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter what it could be $200 if it's something that sells for $600 and you stopped at $400. You feel good about it, but if you stop that,
somebody else really wants,
and I won't say that just happened to me recently.
Is that why you cried?
Heritage auction last night where I stopped at $500 for a Captain America 50 page, and somebody went $550. I'm not saying that happened to me last night.
Poor Nick.
I know that's when it hurts, when you're the underbidder. So
understandable.
Hey, and just as I talk about Captain America, Alberto shows up. What?
Hey, Alberto.
What are the odds, right?
Alberto, we were talking about Captain America, including the fact that I look like a Rob Liefeld drawing of Captain America #1 from this angle only. That's a beauty.
Okay, so this is Thanos Quest. This actually comes from, well, first of all, let's just go with it hammered at 17,750. This comes from a collection that bought almost the complete issue from a collector that spent decades trying to pull it together. He's starting to put things out on the market. I think he started with some splashes here. You'll see the covers actually to Thanos Quest in the June ComicLink auction. So there's going to be a lot more coming out. This was a choice example. I think it may have been. Some people may like the other one in the auction better because it has a frontal view of Thanos. But I actually think this is the first scene where he captures his first gem by taking it from the gardener. He has that great inset with zipatone and just some really great textures and the face of Thanos. But what I also like it is this starts his theme about he collects the gems by actually using the gardener's power against him, which is kind of some irony in that. And I think that you see a lot in the Thanos story as he collects his gems and he goes after and tries to ultimately go out with the Thanos gauntlet, does his half the universe dies thing. But yeah, incredible on it. I thought it was a great splash. I was talking to another collector. We're both interested in this, and we ended up picking numbers and putting it in. And this one, I was interested in it, but only up to a certain point. But I think at 17,750, the seller is pretty happy with that. That's a good result this page. We're no longer the days where you can find these Thanos Ron limbs for single digits or under 10,000. They're all the good ones are up in this range, and these are twice up too, so it displays pretty well. So I'd say good result for the seller here, and I think a lot of the temperament was there may be some other pages coming out over the next couple of months, so there was some kind of thought, okay, well, if it's not the exact page you want, you're better off holding off and waiting for that one to come along.
Well, what I'll say is for a non-action page, this page conveys a lot. I mean, it is stunning just because this says so much. Basically, that's all I can add to it. This page is so beautifully rendered, and for a non-action page, it just says everything. It's beautiful. So congrats to the consigner and congrats to the winner.
To the buyer, yeah. What a great piece of prize for.
I didn't realize it was twice up. I should have read the description.
Yeah, these look great in person.
That's a bonus. I don't think I'll be honest. I don't think I've seen too many pieces.
Well, for years, this one collector was snapping them all up privately. I think 2 of them came out in I don't know which auction last year, and these are the next 2 to come out. And I think there's some being sold privately, but again, there's 50 pages that are going to either be kept by the owner or slowly sold over time. So if you have your favorite page, you can cross your fingers and hope it comes, right? But a good page. I just wanted to highlight it because I think it was a great representation of the series and his first Jim, right? It's kind of nice.
All right. No, I agree completely. Now, swinging over to this, what do we got? A Stephen Platt. I love.
Yeah. So I always try to pick one that's not in the kind of top 10, big spinner. So this one's interesting for me. Stephen Platt's known for his Moon Knight, very detailed, just extraordinarily detailed work. I love this page in that it really shows Logan or Wolverine kind of just chilling with a cigar, and you see the babe in the bed in the back. It just has everything you'd want to kind of characterize Logan. But I think from the artist standpoint, I think you can look at the details that he puts in the bricks on the wall, on the floors, on the sheets. Even Wolverine's body is shaded in a way that gives him depth and just some incredible contrast. So I think for you'd find his Moon Knight pages of this quality would be 10 to 12, I'd say. So, you're not getting his main character, but again, it's Wolverine. So I think this was actually very well bought by the buyer. It actually presents really well as a standalone page. And I just love the inking. And this is Stephen Platt pencils and inking, but look at the detail he has in every single part of the page. It's impressive. So I thought it's worthwhile highlighting here.
Considering how little Platt is out there, I would say the market's finally catching up to where it should be. I mean, this is a guy who did most of his comic art in the 90s and early 2000s. He's been in Hollywood ever since. So right. It's only honestly, it was only a matter of time, and it's there.
So this sold for $6,300, I think. So a good, I think that good buy. Right. I think good buy.
Yep, 63.22. No, that's gorgeous. I mean, there's not enough Platt on CAF. I can tell you that.
Right.
I search on him a couple times a month because I just love his stuff, and you just don't see new pieces getting added too often. So,
all right, David Matheny, congratulations.
Oh, did David get it?
No, he owns 2 pages already.
Oh, from this one.
Yeah,
okay.
That's fantastic. Yeah. Wow, congrats, David.
Good, David.
So Nick, we're going to switch over to you here. And I do have that Heritage piece as well, but this one went for $50,999.
Yeah, and this goes back to what Dino was saying earlier, that all 3 auction houses are doing well. I mean, Heritage auctioned this off just 2 years ago, and this is stunning, memorable, iconic. It's everything. And, Heritage got a strong price. When was that? Was that 2020?
2020, before the...
Yeah, April 30th. So just pretty much 2 years ago.
Yeah. So this really just shows that the strong material, if it comes back out on the market, is still going to increase. So, I mean, this is a 40% increase. So I think they marketed it well. I think it's iconic, and
Great.
they reached the audience. And, you know, I mean, just so gorgeous. Oh,
Amazing. 2 comments on this one, Nick. Well, great piece, but you know, it's a Terry Austin can ink anyone and make them look good, but this is a great combination. And the second is the lesson is it doesn't matter. Like this was at 45,000 before the last day. I mean, it really went up, and it was the second highest of all, and it only got that little extra bump, whereas some others would double or triple. So people who wanted this but thought they were scared away because it was going to go much higher kind of lost out, because I think I think mid-50s for a cover of this quality.
Yeah, and kind of like the Thanos page you picked. Look at how, you know, for a stoic page, so to speak, it is so powerful.
Yeah, agreed. It was funny. I was telling somebody the other day that art shouldn't appreciate more than 33% in a 1.5 or 2 year period, and yet here we have a
good
example of me being wrong. So, you know, and going from, you know, from Heritage at the you know, as the first one to ComicLink and having that happen. I mean, nothing against
typically it's the other way where
absolutely yeah. So well, let's see, that's 2020, I guess. I mean, this was kind of when things started to escalate, right? April 2020, we could say about 2 years ago is when we started seeing the prices really take off. So I guess, you know, anything is possible, that's for sure. But I love this image too. I mean, I agree with you, Dino. Terry Austin makes everybody look so much better. He was such a creative inker. His use of Zipatone, and, you know, I mean, everything he did, he made special. And so you know, his work with Marshall Rogers is some of his best work, and I love his work on pretty much everybody he partnered with.
Yeah.
Next up, we got this Swamp Thing 50 DPS that went for 25,805 by Bissett and Talbot.
I thought that was gorgeous double page spread. Really strong price, and just stood out to me. While a strong price today, I will say, even without the boom price hikes of 2021 and 22, this will seem cheap in about a year. I mean, that's it. It'll just seem cheap in a year. But today, it commanded the right price.
I'd actually echo that. I mean, I think
Bill, or no, you can't make it bigger.
I would, you know what? Well, if I click on it, you know, that's what I don't like about ComicLink site. You click on it, it opens a new window that I can't. I mean, you know, the only way I can show it to you is if I stop the screen and show this other new window.
Okay. Well, anyway, this looks impressive in person. I saw this back about 6 years ago or 5 years ago. There was a rumor that there was going to be these movies on, I think it's called The Dark something, where it includes Swamp Thing and Dead Man, and there's some. So this was going to be the first appearance of that dark universe. I can't remember what they called it, but that's what made this.
I think it's JLA Dark.
Yeah, JLA Dark. So I think that was really part of the appeal, and it does seem that it has the guy from House of Mystery in there.
Yep. You have Cain and Abel,
and the of course the marching order of the guys in the right side. It's pretty impressive. A lot
and Marcus, this was on Heritage, but I think it was in 2016. So I don't think there's anything that you can really use to compare at that point.
Right.
You know,
right.
It's not close like the Doctor Strange cover, but this is just gorgeous.
And I think you're getting Bissett and Toddleben. You're getting both in here?
Yes.
That's top of the food chain there.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad I found a way to actually make this work. So cool. To see the detail image. I mean, I wasn't able to do that before, but hey, I'm learning as I go. Great image, though.
Moy won it.
Oh, Moy won it.
I don't think he knows. I think he's having fun.
Okay.
But yeah, no, fantastic.
That's a great one.
Absolutely. And this was a Boris piece, right? Yeah, Boris, and the price on this one was $47,555.
Respect.
I think this is the highest I've ever seen a Boris piece go for, and it was different than I would normally pick. So I thought, you know, instead of picking all the normal superhero stuff, this stood out. This was a really strong price. It is drop dead gorgeous. It's classic. It has so much going for it. Look at how beautiful that is, and the lighting is perfect on it. When you guys are done talking, I've got one Boris story that I may have told, I may not have, but that is just gorgeous.
Well, I wanted to ask you, Nick. With Boris stuff, not all of them are published. This is a published cover. Did it look like that this was used on a paperback or something?
Yeah, it's a paperback.
Does that make the difference in terms of the value versus the normal Boris, which are just basically painted illustrations?
Absolutely.
I would agree.
Since this was a late 70s, early 80s painting. So it's a classic. And look, I mean, the other thing is when was the last time we saw a Boris out there of an iconic character? It's been a long time.
It's usually just fantasy figures and
the calendar pieces or those Olympic pieces. Great stuff. I love his work. But you're right. You don't see published pieces too often out there. 82. That's great.
Yeah. So Mike at Fat Jacks and Fred, this guy Fred Marcus, used to work with in the 70s with Boris, late 70s, early 80s, doing portfolios, and they went over Boris's house for him to sign some portfolios, and Boris had this new Esteban Morato drawing. And he was telling Mike and Fred, "Oh yeah, Esteban was here last week, and I traded him one of my paintings for this Esteban Morato drawing." And Fred goes, "Boris, your paintings go for 5 times more than Esteban's art does. Why would you trade?" And Boris said, "Look, Fred, I can go in my studio for a day and a half and have another Boris painting. I can't go in my studio for another day and a half and get an Esteban Morato drawing." I thought that was so funny.
Well, speaking of that, this will be in next week's eBay. There's a Murata Red Sonja piece. Is a double-page splash that sold on eBay. It was gorgeous, but it was interesting you mentioned
Murata. And I missed it, and I'm kicking myself.
Go look at it. It's pretty.
Oh no, I saw it. I saw it. I mean, look, we live in a world where we're talking about. I mean, Bill talks about eBay on Thursday night. We're talking about Heritage, ComicLink, and ComicConnect. But when you throw, we're talking about there be never-ending auctions. But
Hake's coming up in 6 days.
Next week is Hake's. The week after that is Heritage, and then you start prepping for ComicLink Spring, and the next Heritage, and the next ComicConnect. Oh my God.
Even that, we're getting some still strong prices. You'd think there would be kind of supply-demand shocks in here, but no. I mean, this hobby is as strong as ever. I mean, knock on wood, but
look at when Mike Berkey did the show with Bill, where he brought in $2 million worth of art, and he sold hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Pieces,
yeah. So if it's the right piece, it sells.
It's very true. I mean, in other places, Golden is now getting interested in doing original comic art auctions. They had about 24 pieces in that auction that ended. Was that last Wednesday too? I mean, so that was last week too. I mean, it wasn't a lot, but it was 5 of those Kirby pieces, a couple Simone pieces. There was 2 Jim Lee covers. I mean, so, and they're going to be doing those every quarter now too. So there's no shortage of auction houses interested in. I could send you a link to it if you want to see the results.
Please do, Bill. I missed that altogether.
I wonder. So is this a record for Boris?
As far as I know.
That's a good question. I will.
Until they sell the dodgeball Boris painting that everyone knows, which will certainly set the record. I'm joking. There's a Boris in the dodgeball movie, whatever.
Yes.
Yeah, but this has got to be up there. I mean, 47 for.
I think as far as public, it may be.
Yeah. Good pick.
Yep, and definitely the only
I hate to say it like this. I'm sorry.
The highest one I can see in here was a Heritage sale from 2018 for a
21.
cover. So it was 5 years ago for $40,000. So yeah, this definitely beats that. And then after that, it's a $33,000 Doc Savage cover that was sold a year ago, actually. So on Heritage.
Yeah, I was praying this was going to fall between the cracks, that it wouldn't be up anybody's alley. And apparently it was up 2 other people's alley at the very least.
That's right. Beautiful stuff. And congrats to the buyer there.
Yeah, so that was the other one. 33.6 a year ago for that published Doc Savage cover. But I definitely like the Red Sonja cover. Better. I mean, it's just a great image, and you can't go wrong with that. That's just classic Boris in there. So wow. So we'll do my 3 picks now.
Yes.
Which, I picked an easy one because I remember everybody was talking about this thing when it closed, that the Hulk issue 3 title page splash going for $290,000. I think that this is like the first splash page that's out there since the first 2.
I think they said earliest Hulk. I mean, overall.
Right, earliest overall. Because I think our pages from the first 2 books out there. I don't know if
there are other pages from 3 out there.
From 3, right? So this is the earliest page out there. The first title page, effectively.
It's still the earliest, one way or the other.
No matter what, it is the earliest that is known to be in existence. So, but I remember the night that it went off. I think we were, it was during Dueling Dealers, and I saw people commenting in the chat about, did you see what that thing went for? And I really didn't know what it was going to sell for, but I thought that. I don't know. I didn't expect it to go as where it went to at 290. I mean, I thought 240 maybe. I don't know. I mean, Dino,
it does seem high, but I'll tell you, if you remember the Captain America splash, the Kirby that sold.
Oh, that's very true. Yeah.
It was kind of an early, very good image. Full. I mean, twice up, everything. I mean, this is in that class. I mean, wow. If you want a Hulk piece, it's hard to imagine a better one. Early Hulk by Kirby. So, I had it pegged kind of 170, 180, but that doesn't surprise me at all.
I got a text that said that's a Heritage price, and I was like, no, well, yes, but it's also what the piece is worth, this was out of my class anyway, no matter what.
Yeah, me too. It's just popcorn, watching stuff like this go off.
But great to see too on ComicLink. I mean, we talked about the Doctor Strange cover, really outperforming too. I mean, here's another example of ComicLink result that really excelled. So congrats to them for doing it. But yeah, I was, again, there's no precedent for it. To me, it's like, I don't know. I love the Hulk, but I wouldn't put him up there completely against a Cap page, because that Cap splash was pretty amazing, but still, whoever got it really wanted it, and congrats to them for getting it. I mean, it is the earliest and piece that's known to be in existence. So that's some bragging rights right there too.
Huge.
All right. I highlighted this one only because it was a Jim Lee X-Men page that only went for $12,065. And I mean, it's mostly Banshee and everything, but I'm just so used to everything Jim Lee, and especially with X-Men going, for prices that I expect to see, in the $20,000 to $25,000 range at a low end, and to see a piece go for 12. I mean, I don't know. I don't follow the Jim Lee market too often because I'm not a collector of Jim Lee stuff. So I don't know if people would say, well, that's probably appropriate for this piece. I just felt like haven't seen a Jim Lee Uncanny page go for a price like this in a while. But I'm sure Jason and James could correct me. But what about you guys?
That one was a hard one, only because there's been a lot of Jim Lee coming out and some incredible prices, but it is Banshee. I mean, Forge is really small there.
You got some Starjammers there, right?
Yeah. But that's not Dave Cockrum drawing Starjammers.
No, it's not. Absolutely, that is very true. I would much prefer a Starjammers page, but drawn by Dave than by Jim.
But somebody did get a really good price. there was, this is I think where we were talking like maybe 8% of items fall between the cracks. And look, I'll be one of the pieces that I didn't go after this one was because I thought it would go for a bit more, and you have to pick your battles. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy to think this way to a degree, but when you're waiting for Ramita Jr. and Perez and other people, you're like, it's like if I put 20,000 into this or whatever, what will that mean later? But it did go for a little bit of a lower price. So if somebody loves this, they got a good deal.
Yeah, I actually hope it went to a collector who stretched to get a bucket list item, which is a Jim Lee X-Men page, and this wasn't snapped up by a collector with like 10 of these pages. I think, to get a Jim Lee X-Men page with good action, I think this is Williams Inks too, is a worth celebrating, and hopefully this went to a collector that went for it and got a good value. I mean, relatively speaking.
Right. Look at what Marcus wrote.
Oh, Banshees.
Banshees get no respect.
Yeah, I get it. Oh, but yeah, I hope so too. That's that would be nice if
well, whoever got it should post it tomorrow on St. Patrick's Day, and we'll celebrate Banshee the old Irish way.
Exactly. But yeah, I thought it was a good deal. So
it was.
Let's see here, and well, you know what? Well, I was trying to remember when you said something, Nick, about it made me think. Because ComicLink is a single day auction, and then typically everything's going by artist's name, and when you do have bigger pieces coming up after it, it does make you be like, I think you think about throwing a bid in on something like this, but something else is coming later. I mean, that might be where Heritage, staggering the premium stuff on a Thursday, and that even though it goes alpha there too, the thing is, like, you're getting those choice pieces out of the way, that at least that they believe will be the choice pieces, and then you can get into the chaff a little bit more. And when you get into the chaff, you now have what your budget is. You might be able to be a little bit more aggressive, but on ComicLink or ComicConnect, you're going to be fixed down that path, and that. So yeah, you're right. It would hold you back.
It absolutely held me back, and I still didn't get some of the other pieces that I wanted. But look, you can't own everything. Somebody made a comment just real quick that I want to touch on. First of all, hit that thumbs up. Come on, guys. Hit that thumbs up. I know we don't have enough thumbs up because CJ's telling me we don't. It's 91 people watching and 36 hit those likes. Please, please, please hit that thumbs up. Help Bill's algorithm. Oh, my pleasure. The COVID Jim Lee pieces also had the extra oomph that Jim was giving all the money to retailers through the retailer charity to help them through COVID. So yes, some of the COVID Jim Lee pieces went for more, but that's because there were wealthy fans that wanted to support retailers in the comic industry. So I wanted to touch on that because I thought it was worth mentioning.
I would agree. So let's see here. My last pick was just what was the price?
Thor, go figure.
Thor.
Just under $11,000 for a Journey into Mystery too, because it's from 124. It's the last Journey in the Mystery. It's got good Thor on it. I kind of would have thought that it would have won a little bit higher, honestly. At 10,008. I mean, it's got 3 good. It's Thor on there for 3. The last 2, I don't know, but still, I mean, I don't know. The pieces that I've seen going in the 10 to 12 range of late for Kirby Thors
have one panel of Thor.
Yeah, and maybe it's a transformation, and maybe that's what pushes it over. But so for this one, I thought it should have been more like because it's Journey in the Mystery versus getting into Thor. I don't know. I kind of felt like it probably should have gone more like 14 or 15. And not that that's great difference, but
it's a difference, but there really has been a lot of there's been a lot of Thor, there's been a lot of Jim Lee coming out now. These great prices, just like there's been a lot of McFarlane coming out. These great McFarlane prices are bringing out a lot more pieces. So there is a little bit of being choosier too. So again, going back to Kirby was pretty early on, and I think I will say the one thing that maybe ComicLink has been putting, because they've been putting all the Ruby Spears Kirby art in every auction. There's a lot of Kirby in their auction.
Right.
There is. That is very true.
We've been seeing a lot of Thor Kirby art coming out, and a good portion of that has been going to Heritage, but there is a lot coming out, and this is a good page. So it slipped a little bit between the cracks, like you said, $2,000-$3,000.
Bill, do you have a Kirby Thor?
I do,
right?
From like 155. He's fighting, like the Wrecking Crew or whatnot. But so a good page. But I don't think as good as this. Every battle, he's in every panel, but he's never facing you. It's always he's because he's getting beat up. So
this is quite up. I love the story too. This is Hammer in the Holocaust. One of the best stories. Just and look at that, the third panel with the base shot of Thor. That's classic. I mean, you could buy a page just for that alone.
I agree.
It's wonderful.
That's why one of these days I have to get a Kirby Thor page where Thor is at least looking at me, because and I'll trade up for that. But no, I and this is twice up too, whereas mine mine isn't. So that's the other thing.
I think for the longest time, like early in the 10 years ago, a twice up Kirby Thor page went for a certain narrow band, and people didn't really think about the quality of the panels or how many pictures. I mean, it was like a blue chip thing. It was like, okay, it trades for this amount. I remember when there were 4, and then there were 7, then there were 8. But like, now I think people are a little bit more discerning. They want panels that speak to them. They want, some have preferences for battles versus kind of just, Thor in solo. But that's where the wide range of Thor pages can go, right?
Right. I agree.
And here you get the hammer. You got him flying. You got
right. I love that first panel and the third panel. So it's And again, the Journey of the Mystery. Yeah, that's the thing for me. It's like you're getting him in his first series. So.
Oh yeah. Is this Coletta inks or is this? Not Chick yet.
Yeah, it was Coletta.
Okay.
I kind of thought so with the fine lines and the hair and whatnot. But yeah.
And the early ones were Chick Stone, right?
Yeah.
And then it went to Coletta.
I think Coletta's favorite book to ink was Thor.
Yeah. He did his best work there.
He did some great work there. Yeah.
All right. Well, that was our last one from ComicLink.
And Comic Art Boston just hit a good point, which is basically what we've been saying without saying it. When we're waiting for that artist that we want, we have to be more discerning. Throwaway bids are hard to throw in anymore. You
have to bid to win. You really do. You don't just expect to get a bargain. And speaking about expecting to get a bargain, this is a Frank Miller 300 from a masterpiece graphic novel. All of them are double page splashes. This was come toward the end of book 4, where you have the battle. You have the Delta. You have the King Leonidas kind of leading the charge against the army of Xerxes. I mean, it's got everything you'd want in a 300 page. And look at all the detail, just juicy all the way through. 62,000 is a decent price. I mean, actually, it could have gone more. I mean, given the quality of this piece. I remember when Mitch was throwing around several of them. He had a handful at about 25,000, maybe 6 years ago, five years ago. Mm-hmm. I was expecting this to go anywhere between 55 and 75, even higher if you got people. And you haven't had one in Heritage before. This is the first one interior page. They did a cover that didn't feature Leonidas. They had a Frank Miller kind of preview one that just had King Leonidas. It was 8 by 12 or something. But this is classic, and I mean, it has everything you'd want in a Frank Miller 300. I bid on it. I regret not bidding more. I'd love to own a piece from this great novel, but yeah, it's a good price for just a showpiece.
It is. No, it's gorgeous, and it could be a centerpiece in anybody's collection. I do know there are a few people that literally that extra 5%, the 25% juice instead of the 20% juice.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, in California, that means you're paying 35%.
Plus the tax, right?
Yeah. So, but even in a state like New Jersey, where it's 6.25% tax, all of a sudden you're in the 30% range. You know,
That's
when
right.
you're doing a regular heritage auction at 20% and it's 6%, you don't think about the fact that you're starting to edge towards 30. But man, 30% just starts to feel a lot more.
It does. It does.
But-
and I think
but-
also the comps make it hard because you have to think this is a DPS, so it should count for 2 pages. So trying to compare it to like a Sin City or a standard page is it's you have to remember you're getting, and it's twice up too, so you're getting a lot of art for this.
Look at what Marcus wrote. You got to put ML up first, then Marcus.
Yeah. Mikhail prefers the Aranga version.
Yeah, but then watch
what
what
you can pick up at 4C Comics' Facebook page, everybody. If you go over there, there's instructions on how to pick up Aranga's wonderful cover to 300 that you can, advance order. Yeah.
Well, I think they're talking about actually buying it, but then look at what Marcus wrote.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, this is a beautiful piece, and it definitely hit a strong price. And if I wasn't a bigger Daredevil fan, this would have been one that I would have focused on.
Oh man, so yes, it's a decent price, but I agree with you, Dino. It could have gone higher because of the quality of that piece. Now, let's see.
The colored piece. I know Nick. I didn't want Nick to get only the colored pieces on here. So this is a painting by French artist Matthew Laffrey. Interesting. This is the 6th cover of a 6-issue series from Heir to the Empire, Star Wars, 1996, I believe. This is a great painted cover. It has Han Solo and C-3PO and Luke Skywalker and stormtroopers and the destroyer and TIE fighters. So it's got the whole action scene for it. This is the one series that I think the artist Laffrey, if you read about him, he actually collaborated with George Lucas himself on kind of tips on how to do it like a movie poster. So it kind of borrows a little bit of the Struzan magic of Star Wars here, which is really cool, I think. This second cover that Heritage has sold, the first cover, I think they sold #1 for about $143,000. That was about 6 months ago. This is the second cover and selling for $30,000. I thought it was a pretty good bargain.
Yeah, compared to the first one, it is.
Yeah, the first one only had Luke on it too with the lightsaber, but this is interesting. I thought it was interesting to look at comps and kind of say, well, why would one go 143 and the other 30? But I think maybe that's where the international auction may have been more difficult to bring buyers to the table here. So
yeah,
and good buy here.
Well, and to the point that you made on the last piece is, with the taxes and the extra 5% and stuff, you also have the extra shipping too, right? Because a lot of this stuff was in Europe, isn't that true? Or
do they ship from Europe, or they still come from Dallas?
I thought they were. Didn't that come up once in the last? I thought maybe in the last one. Am I wrong? I mean, if I'm wrong,
no, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Some of the art is in Europe, and some of the art is in the U.S. What Joe said, if I remember correctly, is there might be some art from Europe that makes it to the main auction, but there may also be some art in the main auction
that goes in Europe.
The European auction, like the Frank Miller, because they have such a big base out there.
Because I'm remembering is like maybe it was 2 years ago. Remember there was because of COVID and shipping issues, they did an international auction, and it took like 4 to 6 months for Heritage to get the art to everybody because of all the challenges they were having. And I guess it's always just stuck in my head that all the art was in Europe, but maybe not all of it. But that's got to play a factor. And I honestly, Maureen and Gwen actually won a couple pieces of animation art from this auction. I was just like, go for it. She really wanted something. So I'm kind of curious to see, how long is it going to take to get, because we've never gotten anything from a signature auction before, especially an international one. So I'll keep everybody abreast of that, how that goes. But I was
So
proud
this
of
last one, third one. I always want to pick a kind of a low dollar piece. This sold for 5,300, I think. It's a Nova 5 page, but it's an interior page, which is interesting. It breaks the fourth wall. I love it. How they walk in. You see it. He's walking in with Sal Buscema and Marv Wolfman to see Stan Lee, and they're talking about whether Nova deserves his own comic book. And Stan Lee says, "No, we're going to go with this mouse instead." And Nova says, "Well, I have to still prove myself after all these years." But I actually, there's a handful of pages that do break the fourth wall and include Stan Lee and the bullpen, etc. That make their way into these comics. And this is one from the Nova one. I thought this was. This sold actually less than the other Nova 3 page in the auction. For those who would really appreciate seeing the Marvel folks and Stan Lee, and particularly the Wolfman and Buscema who worked on the page, I thought it was pretty cool to have. And I was just curious to see how we would fare auction wise. I think at 55, it was a good buy. It's pretty singular. It's one you could certainly brag about. About 5,200, I think.
Okay.
Well, 6 with the juice.
6,000. Okay, 6 in juice. Okay. But I was just curious. I love the page. I think whoever got it it's a nice prize, right? It's very singular.
It's a great piece, and cool. It is just beautiful. It's beautiful and it's cool.
I actually pick a Nova piece later on myself. So here we go. This was the big one here for Nick.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the Daredevil covers that I think most of us love the most are 158 to 181. But once you get to 182 to 191, this one and the one with the Black Widow do stand out.
190.
I mean, and no matter what, I mean, talk about being a snob. I feel so snobby saying it like that. Well, you can only get this many, and there's only 30 of them. But I don't like the other 9. Oh, God, I can't believe I said that. That sounds so terrible. Anyway, no, this is a gorgeous cover. It's a striking cover printed, but for a cover that only has Daredevil on it and nothing else, it is freaking fantastic. It definitely went higher than my comfort range. I'll put it to you this way. This isn't the cover the piece that's going to make me cry, but I will tell you 2 years ago, Albert offered me the cover to 171 for less than what this went for. Obviously, it was at the beginning of the boom, and I was just like, oh, I just can't do it. And now it's like, oh boy, I don't think I can afford to have a conversation with Albert about it.
I'm so glad this went really well. I mean, you look at Miller, Daredevil, Byrne, X-Men, these are the runs that are just so cherished and groundbreaking. And for the longest time, all the post 180 covers were discounted a bit because there was some question on how much was Miller and how much was Jansen. And I thought that was a ridiculous argument because it really doesn't matter. It was a collaboration, and whether one spent a little bit 50% more time or 30%. I mean, it didn't. I mean, their productivity and the quality of the artwork was just excellent.
And by the way, that's not the reason why I like Up Until the 181 the most. Just to be clear, for me, it just had more villains on the cover. Whether it had the Hulk on 163, Elektra on 168. I mean, you Deathstalker on 158. You had Power Man and Iron Fist. So those covers just had more characters. That's why I said this and the one with Black Widow, the 188, stand out. This one stands out even though it's a single character. The 188 because Black Widow's with him. I mean, look, the Punisher cover is great too. Don't get me wrong, but it's just the characters that Frank really, especially with 168 to 181, that was like his Death of Phoenix, so to speak, where you had these independent stories that led to one big story, the coming and the killing of Elektra. So it just had more meaning because of that. And even just the buildup of, Roger McKenzie writing the first few issues, then Frank writing them himself. just that kind of progression was different for me. But again, I'll go back to this one stands out. It is gorgeous.
Yeah, and I'll add the corner box is all art too on this one. If you don't know, that's a bonus.
Yeah,
that's his original one that was used on the remaining books after this.
Wow,
well, special piece. I love it. I've never ever owned a Miller Daredevil page, and probably never will. That's all right. I get to see a lot of it on CAF and dream that one day I will. So this one's next. That Paul Pope Batman Year 100.
Wow, what a price!
Yeah.
Wow, what a price! And just in case I wasn't clear, wow, what a price!
Now this, so you get 4 pages, but still, right? Is that what it was? 4, but yeah.
This is the decision from the consignor to put it all in one lot as opposed to 4 different ones. I think paid off. I think because it was the first 4 pages, someone could bid up to get them, and they all create a series that you can really put together. It's a narrative of him going off to the end of the cliff, and it's just I think he given what pages have sold, he actually got more value having them in the lot. That doesn't always work, but this time it did. Paid off.
Look, I mean, I think for the most part, the Pope pages have gone for like what, 7 to 10? So 70 for these.
Yeah, tops of 12, 13, I think, at auction.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. So beautiful and fantastic price.
Oh, by the way, these are 19 by 24. So can you imagine putting all 4 on the wall next to each other? That would be quite a display, wouldn't it?
It would be.
Well, I love.
Dino, did you win this?
I didn't.
Are you building another addition to your house?
I did. I will say I did win one of the pieces that I talked about today, but I can't. Okay. I won't divulge which.
All right. You would need a bigger man cave, Dino, if you were.
You would. This would take the whole wall.
Well, the oversized stuff has to stay out in the room with you, right? I mean, that's the way you'd have to do it. But I know I love these 2, and I think, like you say, you put the 4 together, and it really made a very attractive package. Where in other cases, putting 4 pieces together consecutively might dilute the end price, but I think it probably helped this one a lot. Let's see. Oh, one last one here for Nick, and that was the Delato going for $22,500.
Yeah, I mean, that's close to a record, if not a record for Delato. And to me, that just stood out. I mean, it's as simple as that. I thought it's not a piece I went after, but it was just a really good price. So congrats to the winner, because that is one of the best Delato pieces that's been on the market. I think it's gorgeous. Not something I would have went after for no other reason than I'm not a Joker collector necessarily, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, this must have been incredibly tough for Delato. He's used to using bright colors and a lot of bolds. I mean, this was to get all the darks, grays, and blacks and blues in here. I think was tricky, and he had to really test himself to get a piece like this painted up. But yeah, gorgeous piece.
Yeah, definitely. I love Delato's work, and you're right. Typically a more bright palette, but he did a fantastic job on this piece.
I was waiting for Marcus to comment.
Joe? Of course. Yeah, thigh gap right there.
There you go.
You know what we need to see one day?
What is that, Nick?
We'll need to see so we all know how, going back to Miller for a second, how Miller and Jansen worked for the later issues, where Miller drew an 8x11
layouts, yeah,
and then Jansen drew from blowing it up on Lightbox. One day, hopefully, it feels like those 8x11 pages were probably given away, because even if
Miller, true, you don't see those
for $50 back then, they were probably like $5 pages that they were like, yeah, you take it. So one day we'll have to see some of those.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so I had to pick. I like this one a lot, and that's
Yeah.
Romita Senior and Mooney, of course, from issue 69. Went for 143. You know, when I showed this with and talked with Joe about it, doggone, I hate being logged out all the time by Heritage. I am. It's even worse when we get over to ComicConnect, which I'm totally logged out over there. But I just, you know, the first panel does it for me, right? It's just
great.
amazing. I love all the, you know, the way, you know, just all the scratching going on in there. I mean, this is like classic illustration from comics. You know, just guys who are so super confident in their work. You know, price wise, I don't really follow the market, so I don't know if it's like the right price or not. But it just is a piece of art. I love all the shadow play here. You know, with Spidey. I mean, just everything about this page is just amazing. I mean, so as a work of art, I just wanted to look at it again because I I love the, you know, the way he's done you know, Spidey's hand there in the second to last panel. It's just great stuff.
Well, this is, you know, Romita Spider-Man's always been blue chip.
Yep.
And this is, I believe, a record price for auction of a small size Romita Spider-Man. And
Okay.
of course, it's Kingpin against Spidey, 4 panels, just all action. I think that's incredible. I don't think if you get this, you kind of can check the box, right?
Right.
And obviously at 143, there was a lot of bidders looking at this past, you know, triple 6 digits, you know, past 100,000, and so that just echoes the strength of not only the piece but the market for these type of work. I mean, wow, good for them.
Yeah. Let's see, my next one. Yeah, these are more throw-ins because I was honestly, you know, I looked through the international stuff and I was like, I didn't find anything that really was like a huge outlier, you know, where I felt like it was too high or too low. I feel like those early Jack Kirby pages for X-Men have always kind of been a little soft. I don't know why, you know, I don't know if they never seem to really gain any really great traction, right? But here you have a page from issue 8 that went for 18,000. I mean, that's son of a gun. I hate these sites.
You should tell James Halpern that since he sponsors the show, you should be automatically signed in at all times.
Yeah, right.
Right, exactly. I hate the fact that it does that, but ComicConnect is even worse. But we'll look at that in a minute. But you know, just you're really only getting the team in the last 2 panels there. But so for 18, you know, I think that's a good price for it because I think we've seen a few pages from like 10 to 12 recently. I remember there was a Kazar page maybe.
Well,
6 months
Berkey
ago
also had that early page with Eunice the Untouchable.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like 24,000, but it had more going on. So yeah, 18's okay. 18's good.
And it's good value. I mean, you get almost all the team except Beast.
Right.
But also the reason that he only did 10 issues. So if you want a Kirby X-Men page, there's only a few to choose from, right? It's not a long run.
Very true. Let's see, my last one.
Wait. Mark, can you clarify that? 8.5 Jansen DD for the entire issue? What issue number? By the way, was I subtle enough in asking anybody if they knew the 8x11 to contact me? Was that subtle or was that too subtle?
No, we got it. I haven't seen any before, but
Mark, you please, and Marcus, send me links to the CGC board if you have them handy or if you find them easily. But yeah, Mark, please. Oh my God, you're giving me friggin' heart palpitation.
Cry again. Nick's gonna cry again.
Yeah, but I mean, our market data doesn't go back that far, so I can't even look it up to see if it even existed. It wouldn't have an image anyway, but just to see if it were there, I can't tell you.
That's a great Daredevil page.
But yeah, I love this Daredevil page. You know, Colin and Klein. You know, I love the fact there's no panels on it. The battle just kind of wages, you know, throughout up the whole splash page. It's just such a dynamic page. I mean, and Colin on Daredevil at times I don't like. I mean, there's a lot of I love Colin, but his Daredevil is probably like some of my least favorite work. But this is stunning. I mean, it's just I love it.
I think without the borders, it allows you just to kind of take in the page as you want it. You don't have to look panel by panel in some sequence. You can just look around and see the whole action going on. I think that's really cool.
Yeah. So for storytelling, and then the price $13,750, probably about right. I mean, it's because it was what, issue 46. So again,
and remember, it's a splash, so you can't touch a twice up Daredevil Colon splash. I think for 20 grand, I think it would be floor. So
sure.
You're getting a full splash. Of course, it's smaller images, but
Yeah.
In a fight scene with a key villain, I think this is well bought.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Next.
Now, well, now we're going to switch over to ComicConnect, but ComicConnect is going to be semi-unforgiving here because
you can't go history on that. You got to get it through the CAF links, I think.
Well, it's worse than that. But the thing is, I preset everything up. But when I, how ComicConnect like goes, oh, it looks like you walked away, and it leaves you with this screen here. Have you ever done that? Because maybe you guys don't, but you
can't get back to the auction once you
can't get back to the auction once it's done that to you.
Right.
So I can do it, but I have to go back and click your link.
Well, that's fine. I guess we can just talk through it if you want.
Yeah, no, it's. I think I'll be able to get them, but
Michael Callahan, one of the few people whose brides are into the art with them.
Okay, let's start with this one. I did both of those are mine, but we can start with this one.
Yeah.
So this is one of my favorite storylines ever. This is Defenders 10. This is actually a Surfer issue, but this is the classic battle scene between Thor and Hulk. And ComicConnect had 2 pages, pages 3 and 6. And I guess if you don't read the book or look at the issue, you don't know that those are consecutive pages, because in between you had filler or ad and stuff. But this is the first of the 2. You have that top right panel, which is just a classic, iconic Thor with his name below. I thought that was great. This is where the battle first starts. So this is Sal Buscema. This went for 19,000. I think the second page went for 24 because it was the battle page. That's pretty healthy. But again, this is a very loved issue. This is one that would be kind of one of the best remembered Defender story, particularly this battle, which goes on for like six pages of just them killing each other, which you can see now here. This Hulk smashing Thor, and there's a part later on where Hulk tries to lift up Thor's hammer and can't, and then there's this famous full splash of them basically punching each other, which is one of the most iconic splashes in the run. So anyway, I thought this was interesting to see how this went. Look, I probably pegged it at 30 for the pair, but getting 19 plus and 24, that's 44 for the pair. That's premium, but that's these pages don't come off, and I think having a battle between 2 well-loved heroes is always a treasure. 1973, really classic stuff.
Look, Hulk Thing, the 2 big battles that people look for. They're the 2 biggest.
Yeah. So congrats to the buyer on this one. Hopefully they nab the second one too.
Right.
I'd love it to keep them together. So this one was a really nice Milgram cover. Typically the Milgram Marvel team-ups or Spectacular Spider-Mans kind of range in, 22 to 35, I'd say. But, this one's special because you have the Fantastic Four in there. In fact, you have 2. You have them using their powers, which is cool. There's Thing punching, the Invisible Girl doing the thing around Spidey's face, stretching from Reed, and then the fire blast from another Human Torch. So you kind of question, why is there 2 on the scene? But a great cover. I mean, I'd love to have taken this one as an example from this run. Human Torch and Spider-Man, of course, teamed up for #1, so there's some classic there. And it kind of has that What If dive, if you remember What If #1 with Spidey and Fantastic Four battling. So 40,000 is it's a healthy result, but for a cover like this, I think it's well bought. I think
it's definitely a strong price,
yeah.
But well worth it.
I didn't buy it. I wouldn't mind it.
It didn't have Thor. How could you, Bill?
I know. Yeah. Well, I
so like this one I threw in at the last minute when you guys wanted a third one. This is from Excalibur. This is Paul. Who's this? This is not Paul.
Alan Davis.
Alan Davis. So from the Excalibur run, this is one of those like dream sequences where they go into some realm, and they see a Kang, which is of course from the movies, now famous, battling a whole bunch of issues. You see heroes. You see Hulk. I think Iron Fist is in there. Some others, but like it's one of those unicorn pages. It doesn't really belong in the actual story. It just kind of comes out. But look at the image you get. I think, hey, if you need an example, I don't have an example from the Excalibur run from this, but I'd love to have had this one, but I didn't win it. But what an interesting page with Kang being in prominence right now with MCU and all the other heroes coming in. Just I thought it was a cool page. So.
And why isn't Kang Pages seeing the post-movie boost? I don't know. Thanos was definitely a at least presence-wise, the stronger villain, and I could see why Thanos, those stories would. But those stories were just classic too, right? I mean, the Kang stories are good too, but Infinity Gauntlet, I mean, you just can't go up.
I think there's the storylines that are attached to Thanos are so core to kind of cosmic Marvel, whereas Kang as a villain, he appeared in Avengers 8 and he appeared in the X-Men. He kind of made his way through the Marvel universe without having a definitive title to call his own. So maybe that's why. But
but also when you look at everything Thanos that really popped, you're looking at Ron Lim, Jim Starlin, George Perez. There's select artists that are associated with it. Going to what you said, Dino, there's no select artist associated with Kang in any way, shape, or form. I mean, probably you can almost argue the most defining artist of Kang is Carlos Pacheco with Kurt Busiek with Avengers Forever. All right, I need to get my tissues. This is the cover that made me cry.
Tell us
I can understand why now.
Well, there's a little bit more story to it. First of all, expletive to the person who won this. I bought this cover for $14,000 years ago, and I let people get in my ear. I actually, people were telling me how much I overpaid for it. Nobody would want this. So I ended up selling it for $18,000. And I always regretted it. And then Vincent actually bought it in the ComicLink auction. And for the longest time, he had it for $27,000. Now, I don't know this. I will tell you this. I don't know this, but I think they probably took it off the market for a few years. And now that they put it in the auction, the fact that it broke $60,000.
Bravo.
Yeah, like I said, don't ever let anybody get in your ear. Yeah, no, Murdoch, $14,000. I bought it for $14,000.
Don't get Nick a tissue.
Yeah, no, I always regretted it. I had somebody say, yeah, but it's not Submariner 67 to 72, where he's wearing the black costume, where he gets it. Nobody cares about supervillain team up. And then when I sold it, I was relieved for about 2 seconds and then regretted it. And it's just...
Well, I'll tell you how I handicapped this. So previously, I think a year ago, the supervillain team up with Dr. Doom and Red Skull sold for $28, and then another one sold for $35. So I thought Red Skull would be kind of more supervillainish than Submariner, but again, Submariner with the movie now, I mean, he's actually a hero, not just the villain. Look at the dynamic, the way this laid out is kind of better than the other covers. It's a gorgeous example. I didn't see this going under 50.
Yeah, like I said, I let people get in my ear, and I paid for it, And look, God bless to the person who won it. This is gorgeous in person. Yeah. It really, really is. Yeah. So the person who got it, congrats. Yeah.
No, it's stunning. I really enjoy it too. Was the logo original? Is that?
Yep.
I think so. Yeah. I'll tell you a little tip. So when I set my targets for these auctions, kind of to really, as the comment before, you have to really be discerning and know what you want to go after. I make little 11 by 17 copies so I can kind of stare at it to see if it would be something I'd like to really own. And this was one that I had on my target list. I looked at it. I said, man, I'd love to bring it home, but it went way too far. So
yeah, it's the one that I looked at that I said, well, I bought it at 14. I sold it at 18.
Yeah, you should be happy. You had it, you owned it, you enjoyed it.
I mean, and the good thing is that I'm fortunate that I have the 67 and 68, so
Yeah.
I can't complain. It just real. Look at what Murdoch wrote. Congrats, I hate you.
I get it.
What a great piece.
Yeah.
There
is a slight echo. I don't know if it's me or someone else.
It's not on mine, but
I don't hear it. Yeah.
Let's see. So we got a McFarlane here. Went for $38,525 from issue 311.
Yeah. Considering that you got a small Spider-Man not fighting any serious villains, it's a good price. I mean, they did a good job. They got a nice premium for this page, and there's a lot of McFarlane coming out, but McFarlane is still probably one of the more sought after artists.
Always will be.
I think half the value is having the word thwip. I think we've made it famous now. Thwip.
Exactly.
Oh,
So basically, Berkey should be getting a commission every time a thwip sells
or something. Yeah, I don't know about a commission, but yeah, no. I mean, it's these pages are always going to be primo, right? At the end of the day, and it's got for me, even though it's a thwip panel, it's one of his classic narrow vertical.
It is the
panels,
narrow one. Yeah, that's so cool.
That I think is just so McFarlane. So it's got.
And he's actually there in the last panel, Nick. He's in 2 panels actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's him in the small.
And third.
There. Oh, in silhouette.
Yeah.
Okay, he's there.
And last one, what do we got here? Oh, the Trimpy. That's right.
Yeah, this is one that I was on the fence about, and I thought about it, and I was like, there's other pieces, and I regret not going after it harder.
Would you have gone after it harder if you knew if Trimpy only did one recreation of this page?
Yeah, and the thing is I think he did only do one.
He did. Okay. Wow.
I'm not 100% sure, but I think he only did the one, and that is a regret that I did not go harder for this.
What did it hammer? What did it go?
11,000 and change.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, 11.5.
Yeah, I mean, for a recreation by the original artist, done so well. Honestly, I should have. I just should have.
You regret it.
Probably, if I thought about it, I think that's the one disadvantage of Connect being it's still a good price. Don't get me wrong. If I would have went higher, I feel like I would have been overpaying, but it's worth overpaying. So just to be clear, I should have gone after it. I should have overpaid to win it, because in a couple of years, it'll be, what the heck. But to have any Wolverine with this kind of execution by Trimpy recreation, it was a mistake on my part. I regret it.
I get it. I mean, Trimpy did a lot of cover recreations on 8.5 by 11 and multiples of them. So all from his his Hulk run, and those typically go for $22.50 to $27.50. I mean, they're always in that range. And again, that's a small pencil only piece, and they're gorgeous. I would love to have one. So it doesn't, when you think about that price, something like this that's a finished ink piece, 11.5 is more than fair. And if it was the only one he did, versus the multiples that he did of cover,
that's great. Yeah,
that's a really fair price for that.
Congrats to the winner.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not going to hunt for my 3 ComicConnect pieces because I didn't write them down, so I can't get back to them at all unless I go searching for them. But I remember one of them was the Nova page battling Thor. I really liked that page a lot.
Which I was surprised. I didn't realize that Nova could pack a punch like that. If you saw the page,
I had to go back and read it because I was like, wow, what's going on? How did this happen? You know, and then okay.
And then he says nonchalantly, "Oh, sorry, I just had my I'm pretty powerful dude." So
right. I thought, and you know what? It looks so much like one of those, like a Hostess, Twinkie. Right. I expected them to both be eating a Twinkie at the end of it after Thor got his butt beat. But it was a great page. I think it went for like 6.5. So, but yeah, I can't remember what the other 2 pages I picked were. So yeah. Well, this was fun, guys.
Good.
And and we learned something new tonight. Dino will print out a piece on 11x17 just to feel like he's the owner for a moment in time. And does he want it? How bad? I love that, right?
Well, you can really see, like, if you had it and you go, do I really like it when it's in my hands? And
right.
And I got an Easter egg for you. So I picked up something from the framers I wanted to show everyone.
Oh,
go.
Let's see.
So this is a 1989 Joe Jusko Batman painting, which is the largest and earliest Batman. I had the he normally does Marvel heroes, but he did 2 Batmans. I used to have the Batarang that I sold in a trade, and then just acquired this and decided to frame it on my wall. I actually found a nice frame with some blue hints. It looks like blue armor and silver highlights. So it came out perfectly. So I'm always
gorgeous.
I'm always happy to put good frame on the wall to appreciate it like we should, right?
Yeah, you know what though, Dino, you've got that flash cover that you haven't framed yet. I don't think you love it that much.
I don't know if I love it that much, but
yeah, I don't think
I saw you eyeing that.
I think it's time to sell it.
Yeah, we'll see.
Well,
we'll see.
Yeah. Well,
but thanks. I just wanted to share that.
What you should do is print it out at 11x17, and then you can make that judgment whether or not you really want it. But
the question is, do you want to overpay for it? Because if you want
it helps push you over the edge, right?
I might, Rabbit. I might.
Yeah. So, but no, this is great. And again, congratulations to all the folks who brought some of those stuff home from those auctions. A lot of great treasures in there, and post them on Cast so we can all see them.
By the way, that Jusko Dino, that is freaking awesome.
1989. That's very early, and he's heating up.
Dude, that's only 3 years before he did the Marvel Masterpieces.
The Marvel Masterpieces, like the Dinesh has the Galactus. Yeah, it's huge. It's the biggest piece he's ever done, I think. So
yeah, I mean, and keep in mind, he started painting the Marvel Masterpieces in '91, so it's really 2 years away.
Yeah.
So
always good to frame things and change up what's on the wall. So.
It's a painting, Black Shoe. It's a painting.
I didn't even see that. Yeah, he was wondering. Yeah, it's a painting, not a print. Yep.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Bill.
Thank you, Dino and Nick, for doing this.
Thank you, Bill. Nick,
you're my regulars. I appreciate it, and we'll have you on in a couple of weeks with hopefully.
Yeah, like April 3rd or 4th, Tuesday night, right?
Yep, that is correct. So that should be a lot of fun. I mean, there's a lot of great pieces in the next.
Always welcome.
So, but yeah, thanks, guys, and
everybody hit that. Thumbs
up. See you again soon.
Have a good night, everyone. Thank you.
Take care, everybody.
Bye, guys. Bye, Bill.
See you guys. Oh, that was fun. As always, and we always get to learn something new. I thought that was great that Dino prints those out. That's pretty cool. I mean, it lets you really, you can measure your desire by holding it in your hand. So that's interesting. And that one piece was on his list. That makes it even more interesting. So we've got a lot more things to talk about tonight. And I can tell you that I can see Jiggy is in the green room. I think I teased it in the daily email today that Jiggy might be on with me, but I wasn't sure because there was a package that was due to come in today, and it literally did not get here until 8:30 p.m. So a half hour before the show started. But it is here. So I'm going to bring Jiggy into the chat. Hey, Jiggy, how you doing, man?
Good.
Awesome. I'm glad you could wait. I'm sorry. We ran a little long.
Enjoying the discussion in the comments. I do want to say hi to Michael Callahan. I would love to know the love story of his art collecting and his wife's art collecting. Like, how did it all come together and all that? Because they both have Mannix pieces now.
Oh, that's true. That is
Yeah.
true, isn't it? Well, maybe we need to do an interview. That's what we got to do.
I'd love to hear it. Hey, ML, Jeff, Mr. Easy Go Lucky, it's Scott.
I'm making a note right now to try to get Michael.
Yeah,
But yeah. So Jiggy, I think we teased this probably like 6 weeks ago or something. We'd shown off that piece by Mannix, and you had told everybody that some of your artists did some pieces for me for CAF's 20th anniversary, and the art arrived today, and I have not opened it.
Came from Singapore, and I had to wait for that one. So
oh look, I think I just bought these same stickers.
I have like 800 of those.
Well, so you can see it arrived in perfect shape. Nothing broken.
I'm sweating right now.
You're sweating. You shouldn't be. All your artists should be sweating right now. Let's see. Where do I got a knife? Here we go. But yeah. So this was it was a surprise. Jiggy told me that it was like right before the end of January. So it was almost CAF's anniversary of February 1st, and Jiggy said that many of his artists wanted to do something nice for me, and he showed me a couple of the scans at the time, and I was just blown away that they really appreciate all the stuff that we've done together in the last 2+ years. Is it
2+ years? Yeah.
Yeah, and then of course. Where are we? Oh, there we are. So yeah, I mean, I'm excited here. Gwen should be in here with me opening this. She loves many of your artist works. Well, they were out all day, so they were having fun without me. They were zip lining, and I don't know. They were out to dinner. I had to throw taquitos in the oven, and I ate like I was a bachelor tonight, or I don't know. They went out someplace nice. So. Let's see here. Get this out without damaging anything. But what else is going on, Jiggy? I've seen a few emails coming out from Next Comic Art. I think you've been taking some commission lists. Are they all full? Anything that you want to talk about going on?
So we're going to do our first physical convention here in the Philippines. We don't have the letter C in the Tagalog alphabet, so it's ABK. And then it's weird, yeah. So we have a Comic-Con that's spelled with a K. So that's happening tomorrow, and we're taking like sketches for people who want to go there.
Oh, good. Now let's see here. It's got you're very official looking letterhead here. I have yet to do this. It's not cheap paper. And it's got the Next Comic Art logo on it.
And you're the first one to get that, Bill.
Oh, really? Well, first person to buy a Mannix in the U.S. and first person to get official Next Comic Art letterhead. I'm saving this one. I'm saving it. So it says, "Dear Bill, congratulations on 20 years of CAF. Our sincerest thanks for all your help making Next Comic Art what it is today. Here are some cool stuff from a number of our artists for you in celebration of the momentous event. Here's to 20 more and beyond. Best wishes, Jiggy." Thank you, Jiggy.
Cool.
Thank you, everybody. But let me get the tape off of here.
You're getting one, ML. Which sketch from who? Let me know.
Oh man, but so you got Masonite on here. That's good. I did I'm actually the show I did with Joe Phillips on Monday. I'm from that show onward, I'm handling all the art fulfillment. So I'm going through the whole process. I was cutting some Masonite the other day, and I bought a lot of painter's tape. So, but I forgot. Doing them twice a year just for the mystery sketches is one thing, but doing them at least 4 or 5 times a month, now it's going to feel like work. So I don't know what I got myself into. All right, so let's see.
Exciting.
I know. I love unboxing. All right, so let's see. We've got the first one's a Von Randall, right?
Yep, that's from Von Randall.
I'll actually make myself a little bit bigger here.
Yeah, go ahead.
There we go. So that is an awesome Wolverine. I love that.
I will also say that's the first sketch he did for Nick. So I said, "Go, you got to do something for Bill."
Well, I will. Well, you'll have to thank him for me. Oh, and I've got another Wolverine. Awesome. This is by is it Jim Jimenez? Yep,
Jim Jimenez. Yeah.
Look at that. That's awesome.
I said no skulls, guys.
Yeah, did you actually tell him don't draw a skull on it?
I did.
That is great, man. I love it. I love it. See, everybody thinks I only like Thor, but I am a huge X-Men fan.
So I did say that Bill loves Thor, Wolverine, and Spider-Gwen. So
and there you go.
And most people wanted to do the Wolverine.
Yeah, nothing wrong with Wolverine. Now this one, Gwen's going to be mad because she would have loved to have been able to keep this one for herself, but it says to Bill on it, so she is out of luck. Sorry, my daughter will just have to get her own from Ellery, right? I mean,
yeah,
that is stunning, man. That is gorgeous. Yeah, she's going to be mad.
I love what he did, like a graffiti style.
Yeah. No, it's beautiful. And I love, it's carried down to outline the character. I mean, this is a really, really nice piece.
If you guys can pray or light a candle for Ellery, he was recently in the ER. He was super dehydrated, but he will be appearing in a local con tomorrow. He's a trooper.
Is he well enough to do that?
He's well. It happened 2 weeks ago, so he's fine now.
Yeah, I'll save the Mannix for last. He's kind of wrapped that a little bit.
Gwen is commenting from the dueling dealer.
Oh, she is. She's mad. Sorry, Gwen. I'll let you check it out after the show. Scissors, Gwen, says Marcus. No. No. All right, maybe I won't show it to Gwen. All right, so here we go. We got a Thor. Look at that.
From Harvey, yeah.
That is awesome. I love Harvey's work. That is great. That is awesome.
And he's the only guy who made Thor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Harvey's, I mean, after Mannix, I feel like Harvey's been on probably like the most shows we've done when we've done group shows and whatnot. I feel like he's
tied with Mannix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is an awesome Thor. Thank you to Harvey for that one. And then here is the Mannix piece. It says for Bill, 20th anniversary calf, Mannix. And he's kind of wrapped.
I wanted to show you that Mannix started wrapping the art. So I can't really look at the art on hand because I want people to see that Mannix covers the art himself with a little dedication.
Well, I'm going to be really careful because I like the dedication. I'm going to keep it with the art.
Yeah.
So open it.
ML, you should upload The Fool. I haven't seen it yet on your calf.
Uh-oh. Well, ML likes to, he's very, he's judicious when he's uploading stuff. So likes to meter them out. Me, I usually just put it all, I have like one opportunity to post art at a time. So I just post 20 pieces at a time. All right, let's see. Yep, and we did show this one off, but this one is just so awesome. Look at that.
How he cut it is so creative.
Yep. Congrats on 20 years of comic art fans. Uncanny. But look at that. He has clawed. I wish you could see it from if I had a light or something, you could see. I mean, these. Well, there you go. I can bend it a little bit. So he's actually scored the paper, and it's on that same heavy paper that Mannix always uses. So this thing is awesome, and it goes right down to his claws, right there. Look at that. That is great.
Gabe said, "Don't let him rap." Okay, noted, Gabe.
Don't. Yeah, that's true. But still, this is fantastic. I mean, all of these pieces are wonderful. So tell everybody that I couldn't be happier, and I'm so glad that we've gotten the opportunity to work together. I mean, please do. I mean, these are just phenomenal, and the next 20 years definitely will be better than the first 20. And the first 20 were pretty good, but when we've got a show coming up too. I don't even have my schedule in front of me, but let me see here. I've got a few things that we can talk about here on the schedule. Let me pull my calendar up on a side window here. We have a show on April 1st. That's a group show. And then, and that's a Saturday. It'll be at 9 p.m. And then we've got a show on the 24th of April with the Amor Brothers.
Yep.
And then we have a show with Dexter Soy on April 29th at 9 p.m.
Yeah. So I think people should be excited for the Amor Brothers. I don't know if we should make it a head-to-head competition. Like, I don't know. They didn't want it. They didn't want a brother versus brother, but we'll talk about what the dynamics are between those two.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to that. That will be a fun show for sure.
And Dexter, I was surprised that he said, "Yeah, you want to do an interview?" And said, "Yeah, let's do it." Wow, hasn't happened yet.
Well, there's a first time for everything, and that's that's the last Saturday in April, so the 29th.
Yes.
But yeah, it's gonna be good. We're getting back on track. We had a few months there where we didn't get to do a lot of shows together. My schedule was pretty crazy. I know yours was too, but now we'll get to have 3 shows over the next month. That's going to be fun, and I always love doing the group shows. Those are a lot of fun.
Yeah. So though I'll have a new artist then provide some new art, so it'll be fun.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Have you made an announcement yet? No.
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. But this artist is working on it.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm looking forward to that. Awesome. Well, Jiggy, again, let the whole team know that it's been my pleasure to work with all of them the last couple of years.
Definitely.
And
I will do that.
Yeah, that's really special. I mean, I don't know what to say. I just love them. And again, Gwen, I know you're watching. You can't have it. That's all. Spider Gwen is all mine.
Make an announcement. We will be.
Yeah.
So officially, we will be exhibiting in San Diego Comic-Con.
That's true.
Yep. So we hope to hang out with a lot of the CAF people visiting San Diego then.
You'll have a lot of how many artists are coming? Do you know?
For sure Miko is going. Miko just confirmed earlier this morning.
Okay.
Mannix wants to go and Harvey wants to go also. Thinking of bringing one. Thanks, Jason. No, you're the best. Murdoch saying Jiggy, you big T. So I will give a clue. I do follow artists. If you go to the Next Comic Art Instagram page, a clue is like the people we follow online. So the artist is a girl. We will be announcing it since March is still International Women's Month. So yeah, she doesn't want to announce yet until she finishes the piece. Yep. Jeff, I missed you last SDCC, so we got to meet for the first time, buddy.
That's very true. Mikhail's guessing Ramona Fraden. No, she's repped by Catskill, but good guess though, Mikhail. Anything else? Any other interesting?
Mannix is in Europe now, so whoever's in Europe, say hi to Mannix.
Oh, wow.
For a month. He is working on commission, so he wanted to keep on working, so he did bring a couple just for the smaller commissions.
Well, that's awesome. I'm glad you can get around. I don't have anything to update you yet on my the show that I'm doing in Orlando in February, but I hope to very soon. I have one more venue meeting tomorrow.
The artists are super excited. They all are looking forward to February. Yeah.
Well, as soon as I can talk more about it, I will. Hopefully, well, it's gonna be. I have a few things to announce. Definitely by April 13th on that CAF update. So it's like 4 weeks away. So I have to have some information by that time. But because I've got a few ancillary things that we've kind of worked out. But yeah, I can't talk about it yet.
We have Comic Art Live this May, correct?
That's right, May 20th and 21st. I mean, it's literally. I know it's 2 months away already. Time flies. It feels like we just wrapped up the last one, but we will be taking on mystery sketches again. I haven't really looked at the calendar to figure out what date I would want to start those, but I mean, we typically do it. We did it like 5 weeks out, I think, the last time when we did the signups. because it took less like a week to sell out when I got to the list. So we had about a month in advance of that. So I would assume we would do the same, probably around, April 20th to April 15th, somewhere around in there. We'll start the mystery sketches. So we've got less than a month for that.
I'll tell the artists. Oh,
yeah.
We want to do the draft just for transparency. Like we'll have all the characters.
Yeah.
Artists will be present in a Zoom, and then pick one goes to who, and
I think that's a great idea. I mean, it should be that way. Just because that way every collector that picks up a mystery sketch is definitely going to get an artist that wants to draw that piece.
And then they
can be the last person, but then they have to try twice as hard to outdo everybody else.
And then one last tease for Comic Art Live this May. Mannix debuted 2 years ago, so he wants to do something even more creative for this May, and he showed me what he's working on, and we collaborated on ideas. I'm gonna tell you, I want to buy several before it drops, but I can't. So so for those not yet on the Mannix train, so I think ML, Gabe, Josh Flanders are gonna want what's coming.
And those will be pieces that you debut in the booth?
Yes.
Okay. Because I know we always do a show too, so on Saturday night, but cool. Well, that gives everybody something.
Premium members will get the advantage.
That's what I like to hear. Absolutely. Saturday drops for premium members. I love it. I wish everybody approached Comic Art Live that very same way. So thank you, Jiggy. I sincerely appreciate that.
I made a mistake last time. I had an Excel file looking like keywords for artists, art I was looking for. And the first artist I looked for was Rick Lenardi.
Sure. Yeah.
Nothing appeared. So my next one was Adam Hughes. I missed the piece by a minute. Like, oh man. It happens.
That's how it goes. Yeah. Being a premium member can still be frustrating. But at least you saw it. The non-premium people never even get to see it.
I asked Allison, like, how late was I? Like, she said a minute. Like, oh man, it sucks.
Well, I know that feeling. I really do.
Yeah. Alberto, you ordered a Mannix commission. Yes, it will be finished before Comic Art Live.
Sweet.
And I saw a layout. You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it.
Well, I can't wait to see that one. That's gonna be awesome.
And if you know what Alberto's into,
we do. I can only imagine what he's getting. Marcus says the price of putting Leonardi first. Well, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
I do want to know the origin of Marcus's hate for Cyclops. So
I think I might have said one time that Cyclops was my favorite X-Men or something, and Marcus.
Oh, that was it.
It might have been something like that, and so he hasn't let me live that down. When I was a kid, what did I know? I thought Cyclops was cool. I mean, everybody else liked Wolverine, but I like the guy who was in charge. And then I think that just added fuel to the fire when I said the guy in charge, because just to jab Bill. See, no hate, just to jab Bill. Exactly. We've been laughing about that for a year and a half now, I'd say. Yeah.
Okay.
Too many pouches. No, the 90s version definitely had way too many pouches on them. But
so if there's an Aquaman request for the mystery sketch, I'd want Marcus to be there live and see who it goes to.
I want Miko to draw it.
Goes to Miko again.
Yes, exactly. He'll be like, ugh. Anyway. Well, all good stuff, Jiggy. We got a lot. What are you teasing something, huh?
No, this one's sold, but Von Randall, he sent me like
that's right.
pieces of art. So this one was sold. Unused Spawn cover. Yep.
Dang. That's gorgeous. That's the privilege of being the rep. You get to see all that great art, even though you can't own it.
Oh man, I can't show these.
That's great. I've actually got I'm doing a show with Dan Brereton in a week. Well, it's, the Saturday after next, and I've got a Howard Chaykin show this Saturday, and I haven't gotten their art yet, but it's going to be awesome. It's like I never got to like see the art in person. I've always just they send me the scans and I sell it that way, but now I actually get to handle the art, so I get to feel like.
Said that he's going to make a Crotch Goblin mystery sketch request, and I'm going to tell him now. I know an artist who will beg to do that. Like, please give me that sketch. Yeah,
they got to have that one. And Peter Rowe wants to know if Paulo is going to be back. I haven't talked to Mark about that, but I mean, Paulo's been in 5 of 6, so it's a strong, likelihood that he will. The only thing I would say there is I know that Mark Hay is going to Lake Como, and that's the weekend before Comic Art Live, and so he went there last year. I remember that put a lot of pressure on him coming back to because I think he took a little vacation afterwards, and he literally got in the day before Comic Art Live. So I don't know if Mark would be up for it. Of course, we don't need Mark there. I just need the scans, and I can talk with Paulo for an hour easily. So we could probably work that out, Peter. And I know, Jiggy, you love Paulo's work. I mean, he's just an amazing painter. So yeah, I'll do what I can, Peter, to make sure that Paulo is there for the next Comic Art Live. I'll do my best.
I stay up early in the morning, like way early.
I know. I'm always surprised that you're there.
Yeah. And only to lose like the auction. Like, good night, guys.
Mikhail says, show us some more. You got anything else nearby?
Something I can show. Oh, here. Finished. Someone requested for a Princess Mononoke from Harvey. Here.
Oh, beautiful.
And if Pat L is in the room, finished Mary Jane commission from Harvey.
Wow.
Yeah.
Harvey's pencils are gorgeous.
I have something for ML and I can't show it. Yeah, we agreed not to show it. But yeah, someone did buy this one from Miko.
Oh, dang.
This one's gone.
ML just said show it.
Show it? I can't. We'll get in trouble, ML.
All right, don't show it. But yeah, that was a gorgeous piece by Miko too. That was great.
Maybe one last. This can be shown since Vaughn already showed it. Really nice spawn.
Wow. That's amazing.
And in Singapore, it was Miko and Harvey who convinced Vaughn, why don't you do traditional art? Like, Jiggy can sell it for you. Like, they talked in a corner, and then 3 weeks later, Vaughn messaged me, can I join? Like, please, let's do it.
Do it. Right, exactly. Oh, man. Yeah. Everybody's saying that they keep it a secret. No, it's best to wait, everybody. It'll appear on CAF sometime in the near future. Free Comics says Miko was cool enough to entertain me on that Doom cover on Facebook. Love that piece. It is amazing.
He will be in MegaCon, Bill.
Oh, he will. Okay, yeah. But if we can only figure out where he's sitting, remember I couldn't figure out where he was sitting before.
He's gonna be with either Unknown or Big Time Collectibles. That's where
all right. I'm gonna be there on Friday. That's gonna be the only day that I can make it, but I should be there for the whole show. I will make sure that I find him. I felt so bad that I couldn't find him the last time. He wasn't in Artist Alley. He was at some booth somewhere. I didn't know.
Yeah, he's usually with a booth.
All right. Well, I will find him.
Yep.
Anyway,
thanks, Bill.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
You are most welcome.
Again, let everyone know how much I appreciate it. And I look forward to, if I can make it to San Diego, I'll get to see you there again. I haven't. It's not a commitment from me yet. If I go, I'm probably only going to be able to go for a couple days. But if I can,
you can meet the guys.
I know, and I will keep you up to date on what's going on around here too, as soon as I can talk more about it. So, thank you. enjoy the rest of your day. It's what? It's
Yeah, I'm gonna
almost
have
noon
lunch
there.
with Linio.
Oh,
He
yeah.
will be in, is it Wicked Boston?
Yeah, the Wicked Comic-Con in Boston.
Yeah.
I
So I
think
talked to
that's
Kwan last night. Also, he's like, tell people that Linio will be in Boston. I'm doing Kwan a favor. Linio will be in Wicked Boston. Yeah.
cool. I think that's the weekend of the 22nd, 23rd of April, somewhere around in there. I know they're advertising on CAF, so I should know that. But all right, cool. Well, Jiggy, thank you again, and enjoy the rest of your day. And I look forward to doing our show
Yes, we're
Saturday,
excited
April
for that.
1st at 9 o'clock.
I will be posting some teasers for that. So
Sweet.
check out Instagram and subscribe to Next Comic Card for
Very
the
good.
newsletter. Yeah.
That's
Thanks,
right.
guys. Thanks, Bill.
NextComicConnect.com. All right, see you, Jiggy.
Yes. Later.
All right, those were awesome, weren't they? I am very, very happy. Every one of those pieces is gorgeous, and I thank them all. I do have two other things to quickly open because I don't know what they are. Got them from Anthony, and he likes to send me a surprise. So let's see. I'll open the one I got most recently here. Probably another comic book of some kind, or not. Let's see. And he usually doesn't wrap things up this tight. Okay, it's definitely some kind of comic. What do we got? Marvel Zombies versus Army of Darkness. Yeah, he knows the way to my heart. A Dynamite book, of course, and Marvel. Also, young Captain America's. Oh no, Captain America's young ally Ash, and so you get Bruce Campbell as a version of Bucky, apparently. So there you have it. What's it's got on the back of here? Just some blah 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 blah. That's their notes. So it was $15. So there, I get to read that. I've never read a Marvel Zombies book. So thank you, Anthony. And another one that came in from Anthony. This has been sitting in my room for a week on the floor, so I'm happy to open it and get it out of the way. It came in on a Friday last week. And well, looks like I've got another Evil Dead toy. Remember Lance Suarez had sent me a couple of these. It's the same box as one of the ones over there. What do we got? So maybe I have two now, or maybe I've got a different version. Hard to say. But if I ever see Bruce Campbell, I guess I should go take this and get it signed. So thank you, Anthony. Adding to my Evil Dead collection. And no skulls on it, at least that I could see. So there you go. Thank you, Anthony. And Colin says I was right. The Wicked Comic Con is April 22nd and 23rd in Boston. All right. See, I'm paying attention, Colin. I try. Boy, so I know that Kevin's going to be here. I've got Kevin Sharp as being my guest selector tonight. So I told him to be here at 11. I have a lot of other things to go over tonight, but I think we're going to have to miss a few things here. But I do want to I got to do a few things. One thing for sure is I want to show the Pratt and James Martin exhibit video that we put together. Kazar was there, and so shot a few pictures, I did a little interview with Sarah Frazetta, and not very good at I wasn't facing the camera. Kazar's about 10 feet away. So Sarah sounds great. She's facing the camera. I'm talking to her, and so you can't hear me as well. But I tried to play with the audio a bit. So not much of an interview, but mostly pictures. It was a great time. Pretty far from here. It was about a 3.5 hour drive on Sunday each way. But and I got to see a Frazetta while I was there. They had one painting that they kind of held it back until pretty much until I got there, and that's you'll see that as part of the presentation from there. But it's about a 4.5 minute video all together, and a good exhibit. This was the first exhibit that they did at the Frazetta Museum of Art in Boca Grande that wasn't for Frazetta art, but both James and George Pratt, of course, heavily influenced by Frazetta, like most artists are. So that was why they approached them. Both of those gentlemen are teachers at Ringling. So Sarasota's not too far from there, where the Ringling College of Art and Design is. So that they're both local, and so it was cool. I'd never met either of those guys, so we talked a little bit when we went there, and it was a very good time. There was probably, I'd say, 40 to 50 people who were invited to go to the opening, and it was a lot of fun. They had they definitely know how to throw a good gallery opening show there. So you'll see from the photographs and the video that it was well worth the trip. So anybody who is in the area, it's usually by appointment. They can be open almost any day, but you should contact them through their Facebook page or their website to guarantee that you can get in. And yeah, but it was a beautiful space. I wish I could have seen more Frazettas. I think that typically they have a lot of paintings and some of his sculptures on display. And you'll see a prototype sculpture right at the end of this video clip as well. So here is our video from this Sunday.
Hi, Bill.
Hey, Sarah.
Thanks for being here.
It's a pleasure. So can you tell me a little bit about the Frazetta Art Gallery?
So the Frazetta Art Gallery is open seasonally. We're open for the month of February and part of March. And right now we've changed it into the art exhibit of James Martin and George Pratt. This is our first show featuring other artists who were inspired by Frank Frazetta, and there will be many more to come.
Is that the plan, to have other artists in here?
That's the plan. If this is successful, that's the plan.
Okay.
It feels successful so far.
Without question. I mean, well, you just got a good start with James Martin and Pratt at the same time. I mean, they're a great pair of artists, been in the business for a long time.
Yeah.
I love their work.
I love their work. I was a little nervous asking them at first, and then they said yes, and I called my mom and I'm like, he said yes. Now we have to plan. So now it feels like everything's, we're good, we're going, the stress is gone now. So
if anybody's coming to town, is it always by appointment only, or are there fixed hours when people can guarantee that they can walk up and come into the museum?
It's a great question. I would recommend still emailing me at museum@frazettagirls.com because times could vary, but we will be open from the 13th till the 26th every day for this exhibit.
Great. And do you have another show lined up, or is it all hinged on the success of this one?
It's all hinged on the success of this one. So everyone has to come through and support, and then we'll have many more exhibits in the future.
Yes. Well, I mean, I'm glad to be here, and I'm looking forward to other shows here. And I think there's probably a few artists that I could suggest, and I'm sure Kaiser could suggest as well, that might like to exhibit in a space like this.
It's good we're connecting.
Yeah.
It's very good. I'm very happy.
As am I. So yes, it was a very good time. Definitely a very good time. And wow, I just got some really good news that I wish I could share, but I got to hold off. Yes, so the facility was fantastic, and I guess they have and this was a home that Frazetta bought. I can't even remember. I think it was before his stroke, maybe like 2 or 3 years before that. So he didn't get to really appreciate the location and everything, but they've kept it in the family, and I think they've probably got a few dozen major pieces down there that they have no interest in selling. But we got to see a few, that one painting, and hopefully what she said was that once the Pratt and exhibit is taken down, that we'll be able to they'll put the Frazetta stuff back up, and so hopefully I'll maybe be able to make a trip down there and see the art, since I never did that the other trip to the museum in PA in all the years that I was nearby there or drove by it when I was going to IX. But well, the good news is that even I've told you I'm looking at a venue tomorrow for the show in next February. But one of the venues that we looked at last week, they kind of pitched us on something that was okay, would have worked, but there was an ask. We made an ask for something much cooler, for a cooler space, and they have agreed to do it, and agreed to do it at a rate that wasn't much different from the spot that they wanted to give us. So it is an unbelievable space. But I won't say anything more about it until I sign on the dotted line. Now, let's just put it that way. But you guys and gals are going to love where the spot we've got picked out for the show next February, if it works out. So there you go. That's the good news. But I got to show a couple other videos here. Kevin, I know you're in the room. I won't keep you, man. Okay, he's giving me the thumbs up because I want to get a couple of these out. One was, gosh, all this is timely too, but I should just play them in succession. It's about 7 minutes in total. I've got the Anthony meetup that was last Saturday, along with the Comic Art Con video in one. It's about 2.5 minutes. I've got the over at Philip LeBon Gallery in New York. They have a Creepax, or I assume that's how it's pronounced, Creepax exhibit. And I've got the wonderful, wonderful bit from Marcus, where he has shown us how he has put on display his latest best of trophies. So those three things, I got to show those, and I'll do them one after another here for everybody, because they're timely. They can't really wait till next week. So here, let me play these. There you go. There you go. A wonderful time appears to be had by everyone at Anthony's place on Saturday and the Comic Art Con on Sunday. And you know what? I think with Marcus is right. I need to get some more best of trophy photos. So I will hold off on Marcus's video, even though it's really, I put a good score to it, Marcus. You're really going to like it. But I think, yeah, I'll hold off because again, all the trophies are out there except the ones that need to go to Monty B, because we've got to fill out a customs form, and we keep forgetting to do that. So his are the only pair that we haven't gotten delivered, but everybody else should have them. So I'm going to ask those who haven't sent photos to send them to me. So I'll wait till next week on Marcus's, but Marcus did a phenomenal job on it, and it's got the best score. So let me go and show the Creepax bit here. This is from their opening, which I think was last Thursday, actually. When they sent me, usually they send me a video clip and few photos. This time they sent me mostly photos with the shortest of video clips, but I will show you this one. And again, it's from Philip LeBon Gallery in New York. So there you go. Their shows usually last like 4 to 5 weeks, and I think they do about 8 shows a year. So I've never made it there myself, but they've advertised a lot of the shows that they've got that they feel are kind of in the illustration realm for us, and they're advertising with us right now. So yeah, if you're in the New York area, swing by. So I'm not gonna do my heritage picks this week. We talked about heritage stuff already today, so I'm gonna go ahead and just show the EXP preview and get the CAF update rolling here. So here is Nick Barucci. You know, he's on every Friday at 7 to 8 p.m. selling art, talking about the hobby. And here is a preview of what he's offering tomorrow.
Everybody, this Friday, March 17th at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, we have the original art experience. Now, I think at one point, either last week or sometime during the week, I said we were going to have a huge Jay Lee week. Something happened. One of our artists, Roberto Castro, has been sick and out of work. So I'm changing it a little. But let me start first. Since I did say we would have a big Jay Lee week, at the very least, I'm going to have one Jay Lee piece of art. This cover to Red Sonja 28 from the Mark Russell run. Then we have the Killing Red Sonja #2. This is Roberto Castro cover. We will have Red Sonja 18 Roberto Castro cover. We will have Deja Thoris number 5 Roberto Castro cover, and we will have Vengeance of Vampirella number 8 Roberto Castro cover. These are from my private collection, but whichever ones of these sell, or if all of them sell, I'm giving all the money to Roberto Castro. He's a great artist, a great part of the family, and I want to help him out. So then we will have Spider-Man number 1 with Jane Foster Thor and Miles Morales. We will also have Moon Knight number 18, page 4 by Bill Sienkiewicz. We will have some John Romita Jr. love, but a little bit different than usual. We have the cover to Superman 42 with Lois finding out Clark is Superman. We will have We Are Robin. And we will have Captain America number 9, page 1, with the new Bucky Cap's Child coming into play. This is a great time to have this. We're also going to have commission cover art from Joe Del Beato, Mariano Nicieza, including this Captain America with MODOK. And then we will have an homage to Avengers number 8 with the Avengers versus Kang in his first appearance. So, this Friday, March 17th, 7 p.m. Eastern. Please hit that thumbs up and share. Sharing is caring. See you Friday at 7.
Like James Siegel just said, have a green beer, watch the show, pick up some art. What's bad? There's nothing wrong with that. All right, CAF update time. As we all know, this is for the period of March 6th through the 12th. All the art we're going to be talking about is related to the last week, Monday through Sunday. Dealers scored at $257,000 in sales. A slight uptick, right? But that's just kind of weird given the San Francisco Con the weekend before. You would have thought some of those sales would have trickled into the report, did not. And Comic Art Con, usually some of those sales would go in there. But then again, Will Gabrielle was the number 1 seller last week. 9 sales, $77,000 in sales. Felix was next, 35 sales with $60,000 in sales. Of course, $40,000 of that was from the Danny Warren Johnson print, single character sketch on there. So he sold a lot of those. Albert Moy next had $52,000 in sales from Meet a Man. He was a little bit off. He had $17,000 in sales, and Anthony had $25,000 in sales last week. So, that was how all that went. Here is the top 6 sales from dealers last week. And like I mentioned, $40,000 for all of those prints with, from Do a Power Bomb. And I know what does he usually do, like 1 sketch per print on each one. There's a color and a black and white one. I forget the numbers that how many were printed, but 40,000 was the number of money brought in from that sale. Then we've got this Green Lantern Green Arrow 77 cover. This one was the one that Will had. This one sold for $38,500. Then we've got a Dan Adkins, John Byrne Iron Fist 10 page. This one also sold by Will. Asking price $25,000 on that. Then we've got Albert Moy, Barry Windsor Smith piece, sold for $22,500. This is the Firestar issue 4 cover. Lovely piece of art by Mr. Smith. We got 2 more here. Next up, Gabrielle Dell'Otto, Moon Knight number 1 cover from 2021, so pretty recent. This was another Will Gabrielle sell, $6,500 on that. Where's Will? All of a sudden, he's like on fire. And then the last sale, this one was sold by Albert. Of course, this is a alt cover to Astonishing X-Men 23 by John Cassaday. And always loved John's work. So that was the top 6 from there. Auction houses, it's a skewed number because of the international signature auction, $1.1 million. Well, it's actually $3.1 million, sorry, not 1.1, because the signature auction alone was 2.8. So and that's up from 287,000 the prior week. I'm not going to show the top 3 from the signature auction since we've already recapped that, but the top 3 from eBay and Heritage Weekly are shown here. So there's the overall total including the signature auction. From eBay, they had 159,000 out of this, and this first piece is a Esteban Murado Savage Tales DPS that's absolutely stunning. Sold for $8,600 on eBay last week. It's gorgeous. Then this Graham Ingalls Crime Super Stories page from issue 27 sold for $5,499. And finally, this was a recreation, of course, by John Buscema from the classic Avengers 83 cover, sold for $4,300. It was really nicely done. Now, the 3 from Heritage, which they had 169,000 in sales. 2 Milton Caniffs are our first 1 and 2. This one was sold for $8,100. This is a daily from 1936. And another one from 1936, a couple days off from that last one, sold for $7,800. So, yeah, these pieces just keep going strong for them. And the third highest sale, this is that Walt Simonson L. Milgram X Factor page from issue 38. They had one that sold the prior week for what, $17,000, $18,000 with a lot more characters on it. But this one went for $5,760. So, and I think we featured that one last week. So, all right. I see Kevin Sharp is ready and raring to go. I'm going to bring him into the show. Hey, Kevin.
Bill.
What is that?
I brought some friends tonight.
Wait a minute. Here we go. I got to look. Holy mackerel. Look at all of the Aquaman.
I had to communicate with all the bleep that character takes in the chat that there are some fans out here. We'll call them like Richard Nixon's silent majority.
I have never seen anything quite like that, Kevin. That's and you've got
Bill, it doesn't look like this every day. This setup is just for you.
Okay. Well, now I'm disappointed. No, I know they weren't there when we did an interview before, but look at that. You're you're underwater. Oh man. Wow. That's great, Kevin. That's a first for me on this show. So how have you been, man? We haven't talked in well, shoot, what is it? Baltimore? Probably
Baltimore's when I last saw you, yeah. It was the
was that
October, end of October.
Yes. Yeah, it was late October. But I know you've been getting around. I've seen your picture at a few different shows. You were at the San Francisco art show, right?
Yeah.
Were you at that one?
And then there was an East Bay Comic Con a couple weeks ahead of that.
That's right. I remember you had dinner with or lunch maybe with Felix and Marcus and Ian and Derek. Yep.
And Tariq was there. And then
right.
Next weekend is WonderCon down in Anaheim, if anybody's going to that.
I am not, but I know I definitely know some people who are going. So look you up, right? You're going to be there.
I'm off duty on this. This is just I'm just going as a fan this time to WonderCon.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's no fun when you're working at a con. At the end, I know it.
You're
so,
right.
Yeah, and Jeff was there with us at Baltimore. That was a very fun show. Honestly,
yeah. Jeff was there. Yes, I have fond memories of the night when Anthony ordered Uber Eats to be delivered inside of a restaurant.
Yeah, that guy is a rebel. That is for sure. Well, I think he got the service. He actually got his Uber Eats probably faster than we got our food. So maybe he was smarter than all of us. I don't know. Oh man, but yeah, no, it's good to see you again. We've definitely, you're going to hang around later because I want to talk about some stuff too. I have a new topic for you as well, relevant to the interests of people watching this show. Oh, really? Okay, yes. I love it. Well, let's see. I've got. We might as well just kind of rumble into the picks, right? I mean, because this is. Let's see. This is what we're here for. Let me swing in the shared screen here. And yep, it always takes an extra step. Here we go. Oh, and it's sized pretty well. Let me try to make it a little like this. There we go. All right. So first up, let's see, whose calf gallery is this? What do we got here? Oh, Dave Carlin. Oh man, of course it's in Dave Carlin's. He reps Butch Geist, right? So this is a commission piece by Butch Geist, and it's gorgeous, man. This is a good pick.
And I didn't know if this is Dave's personal commission or this is an example of a Geist commission, but either way, look at this thing. And you know what I love about this is, well, besides everything, if you told somebody ahead of time you're getting a 2-character commission and you're not going to see the faces of either of your characters, people would probably be kind of nervous. I look at this, and this is like hitting the jackpot on a slot machine. I would be thrilled if I opened this commission up.
Definitely. I know I was a little surprised. I was thinking, oh, this must be like an interior page or something, because it's so, it's so detailed. But wow. And wasn't there something, did he open up a commission list or something? I remember reading somewhere that he had done that, but I don't think Dave doesn't really have like a mailing or anything. I don't know how he promotes his sales, but or commission opportunities.
He posted in his CAF gallery a commission announcement as an image.
I did not see that at all. Well, there you go. But yeah, and I agree with Rick Welch. Geis just keeps getting better. I mean, he's always been awesome, but I mean, the stuff from like the last 4 or 5 years is just, it's just another level for him. I mean, it's amazing. I love his stuff.
Yeah, and look at just the body language of the two characters, the pose and the background it's just killer. I love this thing.
I didn't notice that. I saw the gun. I didn't notice the knives and things on the ground.
Well, look at the bullet holes behind Bucky in the pillar.
Yeah, nothing like a nice wet kiss after you got done clobbering some thugs, right?
You're glad to be alive, Bill. You got to savor the moment.
Exactly. But I completely agree. This is awesome. I would have been very happy, if I went in and said, yeah, give me a Black Widow and Bucky commission. This is good, because this is so unexpected. I mean, I hope you got a lot of comments. Does he get how many comments he has? Only 3 comments. Everybody, come on, get in there and go to Dave Carlin's CAF. And of course, Marcus has already got one in there, but get in there and comment on this piece. This is awesome. And I saw this piece too when it was posted. I thought it was gorgeous. So yeah. I'm glad you got it.
And by the way, I can't see the chat right now. So hello to any of my friends who are in the chat. And if I'm just not responding, it's because I can't see you.
You can switch it to the chat.
Well, now I'm set, Bill. I don't want to mess with anything.
Okay. All right. Well, nobody said anything bad. James Siegel noted, that they were looking for love in all the wrong places. Yeah, that's true. And, but yeah, nobody said anything bad about you at all. Oh, so, okay. Let's take a look at the next piece here. This is, of course, Byrne and Wyacek from, it's from volume 2, number 2, page 1. Oh, yeah. I've picked a few She-Hulk Byrne pages, but this one's wonderful. And I love the lettering on this title page too.
Okay. Now I switched to the chat. So, all right, Alberto, be on your best behavior. Now for this, my personal favorite inker on Byrne is Byrne himself, because I like the thick line, especially like Alpha Flight and FF, the mid-period FF. But this She-Hulk, the Wyacek, the very thin kind of fine, look at the hair, at the highlights on the hair, for example, that very thin, fine ink work. This just brings back so many memories of reading She-Hulk. And I love this issue. And that splash page, a lot of people say, oh, all of Byrne's women look alike. He just draws the same female face. This does not look like the Invisible Girl, for example, or Wonder Woman. This very specifically looks like the She-Hulk facial structure that he came up with.
Yeah, no, exactly. You can't change the hair on her and have that be Sue. It's not. Right. It's definitely. I mean, well, he put a lot of effort in the She-Hulk series. I really, in some cases, in some pieces, I like that art better than the work in FF, and I love this work in FF. But I thought She-Hulk was fun, and you could tell he enjoyed when writing and drawing that that book, and yeah, this is a. I mean, I love, and like I say, I love that Attack of the Terrible Toadmen font. It's just so period, right? For what is the year on this thing? It's an 80 something. It looks like. There,
can you blow up the indicia?
No, I can't, because they're not. Are they premium? No. Oh, it's Kevin Ono. I can't tell. It looks like 80.
88?
88, I think is what it says. Yeah. But yeah, fantastic piece. I mean, Kevin should be a happy man to have that in his CAF gallery.
Even if the She-Hulk isn't your favorite Byrne series, who wouldn't love to just have this splash page in your portfolio?
Yeah, Tarika's saying, and what about Byrne Austin?
Well, So look, this is why they make chocolate and vanilla, Bill and Tariq.
That's
I didn't
right.
say I dislike all the other inkers. I just said my favorite inker is Burn on Burn.
I gotcha.
That's all.
No, I like Burn on Burn when he first started inking himself. I mean that there were periods where later where I didn't like, where he just got, I don't think it was lazy, right? But it was just his style got looser, and I didn't like that, because if you could have brought in you could have brought in a Terry Austin or a Bob Wyacek, and it wouldn't have had that loose quality. I mean, maybe he just wanted full control over everything, but there was a period that I didn't like him making himself. But the earlier stuff, absolutely. I mean,
of all of Burns' controversial comments in his career, the one that rankles me the most is when he trashes his Alpha Flight art. How he says that looks like a low point of his career. I love that art.
That's funny, because I thought that was pretty good too, and he doesn't look back on that very fondly, huh?
He holds up his modern art as a person who has gotten better, and Alpha Flight is someone who's still on the upward curve.
But
we'll just
hey, that's fine. I would disagree with him on that, but Colin says pretty sure Burn is also Burns' favorite inker. Yeah, that is probably true. And Tariq says he agrees with me that the later Burn on Burn wasn't as tight as earlier. Yeah, it just wasn't. I mean, it was looser. I don't know if it was because he was just in a rush or whatever, but his earlier stuff definitely was very nice. And Kazra says he trashes Bob Layton inking him. Well, yeah, that's that. Yeah, there was some. Well, how often did they work together? I mean, I have to go back and look, but I know
he's also got he's also made comments about Rubenstein inking those Handbook of the Marvel Universe pinup pages, and how the inks are so heavy that they wipe out a lot of burn.
I guess, but I mean, you still know it's burn from the pose and the. I mean, there's still enough burn there that you would never not mistake it for him. I mean, I don't know. I guess I don't see. I get what he's saying, because I could think of like a Sentinel image, right, and it not being, but where Rubenstein might have been a little bit heavy there, but you still know it's burn when you see it. Yep. I mean, nobody penciled like him. And Kazar mentions about Layton early. They came to get up together with Stern. Yeah, that makes sense. That definitely makes sense. But we agree, Nick. Burn rocks regardless. Absolutely. We're not. Right. Yeah, we all agree on that.
Yep.
I don't own enough John Byrne artwork. I think I have three pages, and not anything like super stellar. I have a FF page with no FF on it, and I love it dearly. All right. Well, that is a good one, and congrats to Kevin on that piece. And he's got 7 comments on there, so that's good. But don't forget to comment on the first piece tonight. All right. Now, this one is over in Khalil's calf gallery. It's a Zafino Uncanny X-Men variant cover. Let me see if we can look at this one in detail. There we go.
So this is the Molecule Man, I believe.
Yes, looks like it.
No one's favorite villain from Marvel. But you know what I love about this piece is this feels like this artist got up in the middle of the night and was just on an all-night bender cranking this thing out, like with some kind of urgency to it. There's just an energy that comes off this image that I think is awesome. And I mean, I'm not implying he is on some all-night bender drawing this, but it feels like that. And that's what and it's appropriate for the Molecule Man, is like an energy that comes off this image that I just think I love the blacks. I love the face, the shading on the hands, and all those objects up above him as well that are off the image right now. But man, this thing just awesome.
Yeah, no, I agree. I love Zafino's work. Yeah, he's really, really talented. I really enjoyed this one too when I saw it. And again, I was like, well, I thought about it, and then you picked it, so I didn't have to worry about it. Kazra likes villains whose name villains starting with M usually suck. This is great. Yeah, we got you, man. Wow. We got you. Well, Modoc was a villain, as was MODOK. But yes, very, very, very nice piece. And Colin actually mentioned, and I forgot all about that there are those John Byrne pieces that are out there right now for those of you who've been watching them. I think they end on Sunday. Actually at midnight Eastern. That's an odd time for them to end. But there's an X-Men 124 page, an X-Men 130 page. There's a Power Man page. There's a what was the other one? Oh, the Iron Fist page. So there's 4 really awesome. If you love vintage Byrne, you're everybody's in luck, because I can't wait to, that kind of stuff never appears on eBay, right? So they're going to be really interesting to see where those pieces go. An event like this just doesn't happen very often, right, when you think about eBay and auctions, right? So I'm very anxious. I'm not bidding on any of them though. I can't afford them. But
what's currently in your Byrne collection, Bill?
The FF. I had to dig out the rest of the stuff. I can't remember what the other 2 pages are. They're kind of more obscure. I do have a page set aside over at Mike's house from Space 1999. One of those. So I've been waiting. I should have. I don't know why I didn't pick it up before I left Ohio, because he doesn't have a lot on it, but it's just a very nice page, and I was like, I always wanted one of those, and so I set it aside. There's another piece I have over with him too, but I can't remember what that is. Well, what do you have? Do you have some Byrne? I
only have a Byrne commission. That's all I've ever had. It's not like I had something and sold it, but him and Perez were my favorite artists as a kid, and Jim Aparo was my third one. But so I was just thrilled to get anything by Byrne.
Right. Yeah, I've got a nice vintage convention sketch of Phoenix. So when did I get that? I got that from Anthony a year ago.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
That's a really nice one, and I don't know why I can't remember what the third piece is, but I do have a third one. So, but yeah, I love that commission too. It's fun. Those come up for sale every so often, and I mean, I think, there's actually like an Ant-Man or something out there right now. Isn't that the other piece that's out? There's like a Ant-Man convention sketch, or maybe I'm thinking of something else. Maybe I'm thinking of what's on Heritage right now. I
think Nick is requesting you stop talking about the Byrne art.
Sorry, everybody. Yeah. Well, I've learned not to talk about the Elementals art, and so I won't be doing that anymore. But that's okay. And I have to say,
as we're talking over Zaffino about Byrne,
we're talking over Zaffino, and I have to say this because the person, did you see the CAF update last week when I talked about Elementals in that page? I have to say this because the person who got it emailed me, and I have to say they're probably watching tonight because they heard when I talked about it the other day, that I do apologize. I have had one of the busiest weeks of my life, and I was not able to reply to their email. But suffice to say that I am in no way upset that you got the piece. I think it's fantastic. I mean, I was willing to go, a lot higher than I was comfortable with doing that. And I'm so happy that somebody who loves the Elementals as much as I did got that piece, and enjoys hanging out with us here. So you should proudly put it in your CAF gallery. I think everybody should see it and appreciate it. That was an Elementals page that I've never seen on the market before. So it's at the end of the day, there are those of us out there who really love that book and Willingham's creation. I mean, it was one of the cooler books of the 80s that was independent. I mean, you can count like 5 books on your hand that were, I think, really important. Elementals was definitely one of them. So, but I will reply to your email. I do apologize. And Colin confirmed, sorry, Nick, that the Ant-Man is on Heritage. Inked by Terry Austin. He's got a big nail he's holding up. It looks really cool. All right, we'll go past Zaffino here, Kevin, and we're going over to an Art Adams Scarlet Witch.
Okay, so I need to say 3 words right now that might get my geek card revoked, which is ignore the cleavage. So we've seen a lot of Art Adams cheesecake commissions over the past couple of years. This may be my favorite because, again, if you look at it from like the midpoint up on this picture, there's an innocence to it that really harkens back to the early Scarlet Witch, like the Kirby era, where she's a teenager learning her powers. And so it's almost a sense of like surprise. And the art is awesome, obviously. the hair, especially if you zoom in close, the hair is just exquisite. I love the rings behind her, the magic in the background, because Scarlet Witch is one of those, how do you demonstrate the power? It's not like Doctor Strange or Phoenix or something where you can see the magic. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, this is, with my recall right now, this is my favorite Art Adams commission I have seen in this decade.
No, I mean, when I saw it too, I mean, I thought I couldn't avoid the cleavage, but I completely agree with you. It is a amazing piece. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I felt the same way, and I can't really say why I felt it. I mean, it's all those things. I like the pose. I like the fact that that it's under her cleavage. I mean, I just think the whole angle to it, the expression on her, everything about the way he rendered this piece is top notch. I mean, you can't. Who's I didn't even check to see who's this is. Brian C. All right. Let's see. What does he say? My story has been the same as many others when it comes to trying and failing to get an Arthur Adams piece, but this time was different, and I couldn't be happier with the results. He should have put that in all caps, but other than that, I'd say Brian is very, very happy to have this in his collection.
Oh, yeah. Imagine you open this up when you arrives from art, or you see him at a con and open up the envelope with this in it. Again, same with that Geist one at the beginning, just like jackpot, absolute jackpot.
Yeah, definitely.
And for anybody going to Brian's gallery after the show, or even right now while we're talking, zoom in on this picture and just look at the line work on the hair. Awesome. I know of all things to call out in this image, it's the hair, but seriously, it is just awesome.
Yeah, no argument there for me. This is great. So congrats to Brian C on picking that one up. That is awesome. I got to get a like on that one. There we go. Next up, another stunning piece. Chris Samney, of course, and who's I like the name on this calf gallery. I Heart Comic Art is the name of the owner of this piece of art.
Okay, so this obviously the Steranko homage, but there's so much to like about this. But my favorite detail of this picture is the phone, because of all the things, you didn't even need to include that. The picture would have been great without that. But the fact that it's there as just that chef's kiss extra touch, that receiver dangling there, my eye goes right to it. I just like, what a great detail that adds so much while being also completely unnecessary to the drawing.
Agreed. But there's good storytelling here. I mean, she's taken his gun off of him and made the shot. Yep, they were probably just about whatever, and they were taking the phone off the hook because they didn't want to be bothered.
Right.
I mean, the story keeps going on and on and on.
and the Venetian blinds, the kind of the Steranko pattern in that framed drawing behind her.
Boy, I'm in such a good mood tonight. It must be the two Cokes and the email I got during the show. But this is great. But I love this piece too. I love Chris's work. I mean, he's amazing. And but yeah, this piece does keep getting better and better the more I look at it. I love that the wacky pattern thing on the wall. I mean, and it's a poster, right? It's got a curled edge on it or something. I mean, it's what is not to love about this piece. So I Heart Comic Art, you got a winner right there, pal.
And I don't know. Did this say this is a commission or a pre-done piece that
let's see.
Person bought?
No, he did not write anything on this one.
Okay.
And they're in Uruguay, so wow, they're out of the country. A new CAF member too. Look, they just registered in March. Interesting. Okay. Well, whoever welcome I Heart Comic Art to the site, everybody. Leave a few comments on their CAF. I mean, out of curiosity, now I just want to see. They're a new member. They have only posted one piece. Well, okay, we don't have a lot to love in their CAF gallery yet, but welcome them to the site. Leave a few comments on that piece. And I know, how did Marcus miss them? I don't know, but he won't miss them now. I know that. But definitely welcome them to the site. And hopefully they will share some more pieces from their collection because, wow, I mean, they can't be the only piece they own.
Strong start, though.
Strong start, definitely.
And I'd love to know if that was a commission. I'd love to know what exactly was the request and how much was Chris on his own, kind of flying free versus what was asked for.
Right. Now it is listed as an art type commission, so that even though they didn't write a description, I didn't think to look at that. But yeah, it does say that. But have I, Bill? You have I read. What is Jason trying to say? Is that Bill? You have unread mail. Okay, now I get it. Okay, well I can't read the mail while I'm in the middle of a show, Jason. Or maybe I should be. Maybe there's something that's important. But let's go over here now. We've got a Matt Wagner Grendel versus Shadow piece, and this is in Josh Flanders. Lucky Josh Flanders, Calf Gallery. Grendel versus Shadow #2 splash. Oh my! The perspective on this gives me vertigo when I'm looking at it. I don't know about you.
I mean, I loved Grendel back in the 80s. Hot take. I'm going to comment on this as it stands in for Matt Wagner in general, which is, I have found personally, not going to name any names, people can agree or disagree, artists with a very distinctive style, as they get older, that style sometimes kind of calcifies and they start to look, to my eye, like a lesser artist doing an imitation of a better artist. Wagner is an exception to that in that he is just as good now, if not better than he was at the time of drawing the original Grendel.
I agree. Yeah.
I mean, look at this piece. I don't even know what to say.
I'm with you. I mean, Matt is one of those, I'm just going to repeat what you just said. He just seems to get better, or he never lost his edge.
Right.
From from the early days of Mage and everything, and then in the Grendel, and then his work today. I mean, it's like you say, it's as good if not better. And yeah, you can't say that about, there's artists out there you can say that about, but typically in this business, people's styles change, and they don't always change. Like we were talking about Byrne, it changes to something that you don't love as much as you love their earlier work, but. No, Matt's work has always impressed me, and yeah, this piece is. I love the pencil, the pencil work in this thing. It's man. I mean, the more I looked at it, and I don't know how you got all these good pieces this week.
Well,
how did that happen?
And you commented on the perspective. This picture would be very cool if it was just a straight perspective, right? But choosing that just makes it, again, like Somni with the phone, just gives it that extra something. And I mean, the character work is so solid, but the environment around them is just amazing. It's so rich, and the shadows and the variation in the shadows is really outstanding. From the ceiling, from the right side of the ceiling to the passageway behind to the machinery. Great. Yep.
No, this is fantastic. And Jason, just so you know, I do read my mail. I know it says 101 up there, everybody, but when I click the email I get in my email client, and I go right into the mail, so I never hover over it to clear it out. I know there's. I remember James complained about the number. I have 102 hearts in there I haven't looked at. Those I don't know anything about. Right, the thumbs up I don't know anything about, but the emails, those I got down. I read every one of them. So. Get that out of the way. I do not avoid reading email. All right, this is a good one here. Let's
this gallery owner posted several pages.
Yes.
Okay, well, you and Snorik had a page of Kane and Romita a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I commented at the time that this is my favorite Spider-Man art. And I'm a big fan of when you take two artists who are primarily known as pencilers and you have one inking the other, because then it becomes almost like two great jazz musicians just jamming together. And to use my jazz analogy here, you can see as if they're on stage how one guy will come to the fore and then recede, and the other guy will come forward and then recede. And it's just a rhythm, almost like trading back and forth as they jam. Look at the face in panel 2.
Oh yeah, that is amazing.
That's so much wants to be a full Romita, beautiful Mary Jane, but there's just that little bit of Kane in it. And then as you scroll further down, Romita recedes and Kane comes forward in the Harry, and especially the I want to say it's the 6th panel with Peter and Harry.
Right.
So it's like you can see the rhythms as the guys are trading back and forth. And this is just music to me. I love this kind of art so much. Yeah, totally agree. Easy.
Yeah. And Mike Burke, he posts art like once a year. So this was his one time. I mean, he doesn't do it often. But I have no idea.
I must have seen 5 or 6 pages of this.
Yeah. I don't know what inspires him, you know, because this is stuff that he's had forever, you know. So I don't know why he just decides to do it, but he does. So I'm glad he did.
I definitely had to triple check this wasn't for sale before picking it.
I know. I thought the same thing. I actually double checked. I'm like, is he selling it? Is that why it's on CAF? And yeah, no. But this is, I know this is like an issue that he always felt was really important, and I think it's always been in his personal collection. He's been posting late at night, says Marcus. Okay, right. But yeah, no, nice page. I would have picked this page too, just for that second panel. I mean, I love that these two working together as well. And but you said it much more eloquently than I would have.
Well, Romita's great on his own, right? Kane's great on his own, but when you put them together, there's an alchemy there that is greater than the sum of the two guys together, and that's what. The only downside for me is they didn't do enough issues together.
Right. Definitely. No, great pick. Absolutely. I love this page. Let's see. Another winner right here.
I feel guilty picking this because I don't even know what to say. This is more just like a blow it up and let's sit and just gaze at it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what is there to say at this point? This is the kind of art, and I mean visual art or any form of art where there becomes a level of genius that kind of resists analysis. You kind of bump up against its brilliance, and there's really not much to say. That's how I feel. So this is kind of a cop out, a cheat pick. I can't comment, Bill. I don't know.
No, I mean, well, this was on my list until I saw it was on yours. So, no, I mean, come on. This is such a brilliant piece. You know, you don't see the figures who are reflected, you know, above them, you know, the way that he's chosen to tell the story in the reflection in the water. I mean, it's stunning. I mean, it's everything you'd want in a Wrightson. I mean, the details are all in the right places. And yeah, I mean, because I love that. I love just see, you know, because when you look at it at first, you know, you don't see who that is, and then you look and you know, just the story unfolds as you look at it. I mean, it's just, again, everything you'd ever want. And you know, I love this, like the spot, this light spot here. You know, it's probably like the moon reflecting in there. I mean, everything about it is so well thought out. No, I mean, again, I had this one picked before I saw your list. So you know, one way or another, we were going to be talking about this one.
Right. We're past comic art here. We're into fine art. This is really exquisite, even for somebody whose taste runs completely counter to graphic illustration. This is exquisite.
Alberto's giving us a hard time. Too easy of a pick. Come on, guys. Pick
I know, Alberto. I confess. I confess.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you have to. I mean, you can't avoid it because well, you'll see. I have a Bernie Wrightson in my picks as well, because I was a little, you know, I was like, I couldn't have this one, so I picked the other one that was an obvious one. But yeah, this is in Chris K's CAF gallery, and yeah, congrats.
Besides, Bill, I think I earned picking this after picking the Roller Boogie poster the last time I was on.
I remember that.
Come on now. I think I've earned this.
You've gotten all home runs tonight so far. You know, that's why I'm impressed. And Liam Sharp, somebody who we don't really pick a lot of art from, you know, as a guy whose work I love. This is in Michael White's CAF gallery. Let's look at the detail on this beauty.
Yeah, so I'm currently rereading. This is from the Grant Morrison run. I'm actually in the middle of rereading. I just read this issue maybe a week ago. I love the way that it's almost like Morrison and Liam smuggled in a 2000 AD comic into DC, because that's really what this was. And I mean, that art style is, look at the dots in that circle at the bottom, the swirls in space. This is so, you acute of a feeling for me that reminds me so much of 2000 AD. I'm not the first person to say that, obviously,
Right.
but this is just such edgy art and storytelling to be in a mainstream superhero comic. I appreciate it so much more on the reread, and I loved it on the first time through.
Well, you're making me want to read it because I've never read it. What's the story?
It's just it's
from issue 4.
Well, I mean, they did it's called season 1 and season 2, so they did 2 years on the title.
Okay.
Split into 2 12-part, as they call it, seasons.
Yeah.
That cowboy there in the top 3 pictures is actually Hal Jordan in disguise, and he's using his ring to generate those extra 2 arms because he's doing an undercover investigation. And so you're getting the word balloons would be like him questioning that character in the second panel on the right side. I know we're not. Great guy.
Yeah.
Great guy. And his art, for those who haven't seen his art in person, it's huge.
Yeah. His stuff. I know. Talk to Albert about how big the art is. He just sits there and grumbles. I got to carry this stuff around. I always have to buy these oversized portfolios. But no, I mean, I agree because Liam was at Baltimore. I mean, I know Nick's good friends with him. He was at the dinner that Nick had at Baltimore. So I love his stuff, and this, his style has evolved a bit, but it's changed over the years. But I mean, it's changed almost for the better too, in just different ways. I love his earlier stuff. I love his later stuff. This is a really, really nice page. And now I'm curious about Green Lantern. I'm going to read it.
It's again, Bill, you got to go in the mindset, because I know a lot of people who don't like it because it's not standard superhero fare. It really is like a 2000 AD comic that suddenly just appeared under the DC banner and nobody knew about it. It's like they pulled a smuggling operation, and I think it's awesome.
Well, I'm going to try to find it, and give me a few weeks, and I'll let you know if I like it. I love Grant Morrison's. I went to Morrison Con, for crying out loud, back when they had that in Vegas.
That's one of my great regrets of my geek-centric life.
That was an experience, man. Going to Morrison Con, and I mean, because everybody was there. It was such an interesting event. It was all ego driven and all that, but it was. You'll never see another event like that. And
every time I talk to James Sim, who was the organizer, and that comes up, it's just like and his store, he has the flyer for it hanging behind the cash register.
Yeah, I've got mine still. I saved it because I saved that. I'll have to dig them out. I know I've got them in a portfolio. I saved a couple things. I actually have there was a book too. I got everybody to sign. So I got the book, and I got the poster, because they were like giveaways that they had at Morrison Con. I remember there was a few other things too, but yeah, remarkable show. Was Alan Moore there? No, Alan Moore, he should have been there, but no, it was. I mean, Kirkham was there, Jim Lee was there, Frank Quitely was there. I can't even remember everybody was there at this point, but yeah. It was a show to see. All right, but yeah, you've got all these. What was the last pick? Oh, of course, Sean Gordon. So yeah, you've got all good picks this week, man. Nobody's going to dog you for any of these.
So on this, the reason I chose this is from Chrononauts, which is a Mark Miller series. This feels to me, and I'm saying this as a complete compliment, this feels to me like looking at an animation cell. The body language and the storytelling through character is so vivid here, and just feels so. I look at this page and I feel like I could see this in moving animation, not still art on a comic board. If you just compare like that bottom panel to the feeling of the second, or the one above it, to a completely different feeling of the one above that, all of these just have a different beat to them, and yet they all flow like you're watching a sequence taking place. I just think this is just so great to look at. I never read Chrononauts, so I can't comment on the story, but this page, I think the owner of this posted another page from it as well, but this is the one that really jumped out to me. It almost
Yeah.
looks like Don Bluth animation is what it makes me think of.
Yeah, it does. I see why you would say that. Huh. I did not read Chrononauts either, unfortunately, but I love Sean's work and from this period as well. I mean, this is from 2015, so no, very very nice piece. Who was the owner on this one? Oh, Robert Riley, of course. Dr. Bob. He's got great taste. If you haven't been in Dr. Bob's Kafka Hour, you definitely should give him a half hour because he's got some amazing pieces in his collection. And a very nice guy too. He used to always be he'd always hang out in Mark Hayes' booth at Splash Page in San Diego, so I got to know him pretty well from that. Just a super nice guy, one of those guys who always brought a lot of stuff to sign every show that he would go to. So, but he always picked up a lot of art too. I don't know how he lugged around. It's like John Higashi. He lugged around a lot of books and a lot of art when he would go to shows. And I I'm in amazement of anybody that has that kind of determination when they go to a show, because I could never do that. Travel with so many books and and art at the same time. It's impossible. And I guess I never read why that Alan Moore hates Grant Morrison. I don't know.
I think it's a mutual de-admiration society between the two of them.
All right. Well, I don't read enough apparently, but that's just me. But well, listen, 10 fantastic picks. I don't think I can live up to the 10 picks that you had, but I will try. I will do my best here. Let me swing a few things around here. Get mine over. All right. Close it. They really need to make a better system for sharing screens on this system. But here we go. Yeah, I got it about the right size too.
Now, Bill, I had about 5 honorable mentions, and I'm counting on you to swoop in and get those on the show.
Oh boy, well, don't count on it, but we'll see.
Well, you've got one of them right now.
Okay, well there you go. See, this is because you can't pick 2 Bernie Wrightson. So after you pick that one, I was forced to pick this other one, and I know this is in Jeff Singh's CAF gallery, and I can't click on it. I know that Jeff should have posted a bigger scan, but heck, man, this is Swamp Thing 10. Just everything you'd want in a Bernie Wrightson Swamp Thing page, right? And I mean, I wanted to pick the piece that you picked, but this was a fine runner-up, and so there you go. I've knocked down one of your 5. But what more needs to be said? I mean, it's Bernie Wrightson Swamp Thing at the end of the day. Every one of these panels has something unique about it that I love. I love that you have so much detail in panels 3 and 6 with the trees in the background, and then that he highlights just the battle between the characters without any backgrounds. I mean, he just has a wonderful feel for what a panel needs and what it doesn't need in this particular flow. So yeah. I love it, and I can't even say I have seen a few Bernie Wrightson Swamp Thing pages in person, but this is a really nice piece. And as we all know, Jeff Singh has one of the best CAF galleries, right? I mean, he's got a wonderful eye, great collection, and whenever he makes a post, I go to see what it is because it's always going to be something spectacular. So congrats to Jeff on this one.
I've got to give a plug here related to this page for anybody who hasn't read these stories, and obviously they pale in not in quality but in kind of famous level to the Alan Moore later run. DC just put out I can't get to it. Who will put these Aquamans here is really annoying, but DC just put out a absolute.
I've heard about. I remember Scott Doonbeer's been saying what an amazing book that is.
It's because the problem with a lot of this old art that's translated into omnibus and trade paperback collections is that the color is digitized to modern color levels, and it is the same colors as the old one, but it looks nothing like it. Well, in this, they went back to the for the Absolute. They went back, and it is like you've discovered absolute pristine copies of all of those comics, but blown up in large size. It is exquisite. Anybody who's interested in reading these, I can't recommend it enough. It's the Absolute Swamp Thing by Len Wein and Bernie Wrightson. I want to say it came out in January December, sometime very recently. Completely worth the investment if you're a fan of Bernie Wrightson's art, or if you just want to read these stories.
Well, I was almost sold on it when Dunebeer was talking about it, but now
Yeah.
that you've said that, I'll have to pick it up. And I never really read Swamp Thing either, but I mean, I love Bernie's work, and if it's reproduced that well, then
Oh yeah,
I want to see it too.
yeah. The colorist is just I don't want to give him an Eisner. I want to give him a Nobel Prize, because it's you never see the colors reproduced faithfully from the original comic page, because we've advanced in coloring technology. So the thought is much like with Neil Adams, which is, well, I can do it quote unquote better now, so let's make it look better. But better is so subjective. I'm a big fan of not George Lucasizing it. I'd rather see it look how it looked originally, but clean, and that's what this is. And wow. I get no cut of the sales. This is a pure like art fan recommendation.
No, well, again, coming from you and coming from Scott, I mean, that's high praise, honestly. So, I mean, I pretty much have to get one now. So,
yeah, you will not be disappointed.
Cool. All right, I'm sold. I am sold.
Sorry to cost you money by coming on.
Yeah, it's all right, man. Now this one I picked because I know that the gentleman who got it, James Siegel, was very happy. And I always like good, happy stories from collectors when they get something that they're really, really thrilled to get. I didn't really look at how chopped up the top of the board was, but it's funny. I think a lot of Silvestri work on X-Men, that it was that era where they had to cut the dang things off the print rollers or whatever, and they just knifed them. But this one almost got into the art, boy. But again, Dan Green inks on a Silvestri X-Men page. What more can you ask for? Dan's one of the greatest inkers ever in comics, in my opinion. And you get the first issue of Jubilee, which just adds, if you're an X-Men fan, and certainly if you were an X-Men fan of the cartoons, I mean that Jubilee is just like your character. It's like was made for that period so well. And again, you get a first appearance piece here. All the X-Men ladies are on it too, right? From that era. So James, congrats on this. I mean, I don't, you look at this and say, should you clean it? Should you not? I mean, you can see some glue staining on there, but I have a couple Silvestri X-Men pages now, and I love them looking like this. I don't mind them looking a little dirty, a little glue stained. I mean, it's fine. I mean, it makes them feel, I don't know. I don't know. I just love the word balloons when they're messy. I don't know why. It's just something. There's a quality about it, because it's just it's weathered well to see it looking like this. Let's see, what has he got? He's got some comments. Oh yeah, he's got some comments. 23 comments on this, yeah. James. Congrats.
That's a hell of a score. Even chopped at the top, that's a hell of a score.
Yeah.
And I agree with you about the cleaning it up. I think with the way the top border is, leave it like that, because it's of a piece altogether, versus having the top chopped and then super clean and bright.
Right.
I think it looks great like this.
Yeah. Congrats, James. This is a good score. I mean, that Barry Windsor Smith you guys pretty nice too, but
yeah, right.
but I like this one a lot as well. Look here, I put a heart on that one for you, just for you, James. All right, so now we're going over to let's see, it's a Al Plastino, that's right. Superman, and what is the issue number on it? It's an Action 333 title page, and I've always liked. I mean, I like Kurt Swan Superman more, but Plastino's stuff, just such a fluid style, right? I mean, there's something really, really unique and lovely about Al Plastino stuff. And I mean, for me, it's not something I'd ever buy, because I'm not a DC guy, and I think pretty much all of his stuff is over on that side of the world. But I mean, when I saw this title page, I fell in love with it. I mean, I love the way he's drawn Superman here. I love just the way this thing is inked. I love the composition on this page. So, and it's back to it's silly DC stuff. You've pulled a prize goof this time, Superman. But yeah, this is I mean, I know I don't really, I don't dig DC too much, but this page I love. So
I love Plastino as well. I love this. Give me any like 1950s big stomping, clomping robot, and I'm in. I just think it. Yeah, but imagine Plastino. To tell one of the differences between and clean is a great word. But imagine Plastino drawing a Silver Age Marvel book. It just doesn't feel right.
No.
Not that Marvel is too good for him. I'm talking about just the difference in flavor between the two companies.
Right.
He's perfect for something like this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, the more I'm looking at it, I love it. I mean, if this is a page I would own it, because I love Plastino's work so much, and this is just a perfect example of his work. So,
and Bill, remember when you say silly DC, Julie Schwartz's thing was always that they were writing the stories. They assumed that once a kid discovered cars, girls, and rock and roll, they'd be done with comics. So all of these are written for people who don't know anything about those three things I just named.
See, well, that's why I think I discovered girls at an early age. Maybe, I don't know. It certainly wasn't cars, but and it wasn't booze. So I don't know, but that makes sense now. That makes a whole lot of sense. But I always talk about that's why DC just never appealed to me. I mean, come on, Superman's super boo boos. You would never have a Captain America's super boo boos.
No,
right?
they assumed a complete reader turnover every like 5 to 7 years.
Right.
And so all you're doing is shoveling this out the door to appeal to a 5-year-old, 8-year-old, 10-year-old, basically somebody who doesn't know rock music or girls yet.
Yep. But anyways, love this piece. Congrats to Ron on this one. You scored well on this one. Then this is over in Comic Art Boston's CAF gallery. See, I'm actually beginning to lose my voice now after 3 hours. That's got to be my cutoff. We've got Sal Buscema inks on a Barry Windsor Smith page, but I mean it's Barry Windsor Smith, and Buscema inked him a bit, of course. And I just love old Barry Windsor Smith stuff. I mean, this is just a lovely page from Conan, and I don't know. I'm looking at it now. It's like, yeah. And it's funny. Some of the early Barry Windsor Smith stuff is kind of, I don't know, what would you call it? Like the figures are kind of static. I mean, in a way. I mean, or stiff, I guess. But I don't feel that in this piece. I mean, I think it's just really well done, and I don't. It's probably not because of Buscema's inks on it. It's just a really, really nice page. Good composition.
And this is that period where, especially that face down in the bottom row of panels, that close up of the face. The girl in the second panel right there. This is that period where Windsor Smith is like right at the cusp of the roller coaster before he becomes brilliant. You can sometimes catch that era. It happens with Perez. It happens with Byrne. If you look at the right period, it's right before they achieve godhood status almost.
Right.
And that's what's so cool about
exactly
this.
What you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like right there. You can see it. He's about to break and achieve his final form.
True. I mean, when you mentioned Perez, I think back to, I loved his work on Avengers, the first run, right? But it was still on the cusp. You could see the greatness there, and maybe it was partially the inkers that he was working with, but he broke out after that. I mean, I like his Avengers, that in the 190s or whatnot. I can't remember the issue numbers, but it just wasn't phenomenal yet. But everything after that point was. But you can only imagine what if it was a few years earlier when he was working on Avengers, what that art could have looked like. And it's not that it's bad. It's just it's like just before he exploded. And but I agree with you, completely on this stuff. Barry Windsor Smith,
like the Windsor Smith of Weapon X and Machine Man and even Red Nails, the Conan stuff. You can see him inside of this page just about to burst out. And that's why these pages are so fun.
Yeah, Rick Welch says early stuff was Kirby influence. Yep, I've read that before. And Michael Callahan says the more he looks at it, the more he likes the page too. That's true. I mean, I couldn't pass this one up. Comic Art Boston. And Comic Art Boston picked up a Barry Windsor Smith sketch last night from Mike's. That's That's awesome. I didn't know that, and then I saw this piece today when I picked it, and I was like, oh, that's awesome. Now over to Dino. Dino, I think that this piece I think was picked. Wasn't this purchased back in from the Albert Moy and Mike Berkey battle? Maybe not. I don't remember. Does he mention where he got it? I mean, maybe I'm just totally wrong. I remember he got a nice. I thought it was a Dan Dare piece from Albert, but you got come on, Gibbons and Bolland.
Right.
I mean, what more could you ever ask for than these two guys working together? I mean, obviously they had a history together before they really started working on 2000 AD. But once they got there, everything they did was fantastic, whether it was together or apart. And I can only imagine how this piece looks in person. I mean, it looks like it's on one board. Gosh, I mean,
Right.
it's unbelievable. I mean, because who doesn't love both of these guys?
Right.
And then you get them both, both of them working on something together. Oh, I mean, hit me in the head with a brick or something, because I've never owned anything. Have I ever owned anything by either of them? No, not at all. And so I can't imagine how Dino must feel to be able to look at this thing every day. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. It's almost not fair, Dino. It's almost like it's not even a mic drop anymore. Here,
Right.
this is a reference for Marcus. It's almost like King Kong Bundy asking for the 5 count when he's pinning somebody in the ring, because the 3 is just not. It's not awesome enough. That's Dino's collection. I feel like is the 5 count on everybody.
Right. Yeah, this is awesome, and knowing that it got picked up on Dueling Dealers, where you don't have a lot of time to think about it, but he made the right decision when he picked this up. I remember I remember scrutinizing the artwork that Mike and Albert brought to that show, and there was just so many pieces I loved. And this was one of them. I mean, I knew I couldn't afford it, but when I saw it, I was like, wow, wow, I can't believe Albert's selling it, and B, wow, I wish I could have it. Well, here it is, and it's awesome.
But if you look at this page, I know it's obviously different artists, but I'm talking about kind of the vibe and the feel of this page, and this appeals to you, you will like that Green Lantern comic.
I can't wait to look into it, honestly. But congrats, Dino. You continue to improve your collection somehow, some way, all the time. And I even look at that. I want to see the published piece, because just the the coloring from back then too. I mean, look at this, everybody. This is just so far out, but oh my God, it's amazing. It's like Don Lawrence paintings, right? I mean, just gorgeous stuff. I'd love to, that's always been on my wish list, is a really nice Don Lawrence piece. I would kill for a Don Lawrence piece. Chris Weston studied under Don Lawrence, and you can kind of see the influences there. But wow, this is awesome. Anyway, Dino. All right, there we go. Giving it my liked status. So let's see, we got 5 more pieces to look at here. We got a Tom Mandrake Spectre cover from issue 4. I mean, again, not something I read, but I love Mandrake's work. I love the Spectre as a character, though I don't know much about him. But I just love the rendering of the face here with just these lines, with the action lines making the Spectre. And I'm sure that's probably something that was used in different ways with different artists on the character. But oh man, everything about this piece is just drop dead amazing. I'm looking at it now, and again, it's like when I see a piece of DC art and I want it, I know it's a really good piece. And this is just stunning. I mean, the more I'm looking at it now, and I'm more impressed with it now than when I first looked at it. It's gorgeous.
The souls, or the bodies that he's on top of, almost have a Kelly Jones feel to them in the depth and the blacks and the lines, and then the Spectre and the Jim Corrigan feel totally different than those.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, but just looking at Mandrake's a guy, who's, I mean, when I think about him, I've always thought his art was interesting, but I can't say I've ever wanted to buy anything by him. I don't know why. I've never seen the right piece, but he was well suited for this piece. I mean, the inking on this thing is gorgeous. I mean, man, again, the more I'm looking at it, the more I'm loving it.
Yeah.
So how many picks of yours have I got? We had 5. You said
you've gotten 2 of them. The
2 of them.
The 2000 AD and the Wrightson Swamp
the
Thing.
Wrightson. All right, so I got 2 of them. All right. Well, I don't think this one's going to count towards it, but this is in Kazra's Calf Gallery. He's been posting a few Modocs here or there, and this is a Jonathan Wayshak piece whose art I've always enjoyed. I mean, he's just got such a fun technique in his approach to inking. I mean, look at this. Yeah. It's so smudgy and dirty looking, but oh my God, it's gorgeous. I mean, look at this thing. And yeah, I mean, I've just always been impressed by the guy's work, and so very well suited for this piece. I'm sure that Kazra knew he was going to be getting a really solid piece. There's lots of skulls on here, so I couldn't have gotten it. But I mean, look at that. Even the cat.
Yeah, it's great. This I saw this piece, and this reminds me of like that. This would be the poster for a head shop in the 70s.
That's right.
You know what? Like it feels so almost wrong, but in the most awesome way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you could make a bong out of this thing. You could like put the carb or whatever right where on his forehead, right?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
It's almost like
I hope he's asleep now.
Yeah, right.
This piece like this.
It's almost like some twisted Alice in Wonderland drawing.
It is.
That happens to be Modoc, though.
Exactly. Oh my goodness. But yeah, I mean, this is an awesome piece. And, I love people with the same bad taste in art. All right, guys. But it makes me want to go look more at other Wayshak pieces that are on Calf, because it's so cool, and it just reminds me of why I like his artwork a lot. So cool. Thank you for sharing this one, Kazra. Let's see. I told you that wasn't going to be in your top 5, but all right.
Can I still love? Oh, well, now you're right in my. Go ahead.
So I went with this is from Patrick Kohanek's Calf Gallery, and Patrick, he I know he watches these shows. He's a big Frazetta fan. He has a lot of amazing Frazetta pieces, but he's also very big into Golden Age artwork as well. And I know he's got a few other Gil Kane Green Lanterns. Probably has more than I know, but this one, I mean, look at the second panel. If you love Green Lantern, you want to have his greatest quote in it, and here you've got it. You've got Joe Giella inks on this page too. This is a drop dead amazing page. And what's the year? I mean, I don't even know. Is it? No, he doesn't have it.
This might be 59. Oh no, he debuted in 59, so this might be 60 or 61 maybe.
Okay. I mean, it's yeah. I mean, you figure this is over 60 years old. I just can't imagine how amazing this looks in person. But again, that second panel, that does it. It makes for a truly historic piece of art, and it's in a gentleman's collection who absolutely has historic piece of art after historic piece of art in his collection. So if you haven't visited or been in Patrick's Calf Gallery before, definitely should.
The only reason I didn't pick this is because I picked a Kane Green Lantern page last time I was on. So
that's true.
But otherwise,
okay. Well, yeah, maybe I should have watched the last time and not picked.
Well, many years ago, I got a Green Lantern commission by Steve Rude.
Okay.
And I sent him this issue as reference for which Green Lantern version that I wanted, because the costume changed as they went through the Bronze Age. But this is the exact issue, and it has an awesome cover as well. One of those, it's almost like those, I can't remember what the technical art term, but DC was doing them in the Silver Age. They almost look like pastel covers. That's not the right word.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm envious. This is a really nice page. All right, we got 2 more pieces to look at here. I don't even remember what they were. What did I pick? Oh, a Rowena Moral piece. I don't think I've ever picked anything by Rowena, so I thought, I'm gonna do it, and I wanted to at least get something different. It's funny because remember Nick picked a Boris piece when he was doing his choices, and before I knew what he had, because I didn't even look through his list until about an hour before the show. But I always like to mix in something that's more in the sci-fi fantasy area. So Rowena had a very, very long career, and I think that her art kind of trailed off later in life, but when she was at her peak, she was absolutely amazing. I mean, she was one of the best science fiction fantasy painters out there, and I really like this piece. I like the color choices, these light purples and reds and the blues for highlights. I mean, it's just a very intelligently painted piece, and it makes me want to go back and look at Rowena art from this period. I just think she was absolutely a brilliant painter, and never met her in person. I know a few people who have and got kind of got to know her a bit, but love her work from this period. I don't even know. Let's see, what year is this? In 81. So quite a while ago. But whose was this? Ray Ptolomeo. So a CAF member who's been on the site for over 12 years, and I don't think I've ever been in their CAF gallery. But I don't know. I don't really have anything else to say other than it's gorgeous.
Look at that great use of that aqua blue up at the top.
Yeah, I mean,
that lighting is just that whole back. I know that you're obviously looking at the figures primarily in this drawing, but I love the carpet and I love the back. I don't know if you want to call it a wall, but the background.
Yeah, no, I mean, this must look really, really stunning in person. It just lists the size. I'm just curious. Yeah, it does. Okay, 17 by 27, frame 21 by 31. Wow, that is an impressive artwork to hang on your wall right there.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's cool. And so if you aren't familiar with Rowena's work, you definitely should check her out. There's probably not a lot on CAF. I have absolutely no idea how many pieces are there, but she really is quite brilliant. And a style unique to herself. You look at that and you don't say, oh, she's trying to be a Frazetta clone. No, not at all. She was really, had her own style. So my last pick, a Gary Martin piece, and for you Star Wars fans out there, this is in Alfredo's CAF gallery. I just saw the piece and I was like, I really like this. And I'm not a Star Wars guy at all, but I love graphic art, and this one, you can, I dig it for a lot of different reasons. I mean, when I look at the line work on it, I mean, it's just a cool piece. And I had to pick it. It's so symmetrical too. It's like weird in its own way. But again, love the lighting on it, and love the piece. So congrats to this pickup here, Alfredo.
Yeah, when I saw the thumbnail for this, I was like, obviously it's a Jeff Wedding piece. And then it turns out not to be.
No, Jeff Wedding's in the audience. He's commenting on how beautiful it is. That's true. It does look like a recruitment poster, doesn't it, Marcus? But yeah, I love the piece. And looking at you, when you look at it in more detail, I mean, look at that. That's slick. I mean, that is a really, really slick piece. And again, the lighting on it, so well done. It's almost like you had to have something for reference. How do you do that? You can't just draw that out of your head, can you? Because looks far too complicated to do that just right.
Look up at the very top, at the very top of the helmet. There's like those little lines at the. Mm-hmm. They're not nicks. It's like the pattern of the helmet right in the center.
Yeah.
Very cool detail. It makes it look like you're looking at an actual helmet.
It's true. I mean, this is brilliant. So yeah, very nice piece of Gary Martin art here. Wow. And Rick Welch mentioned that the painting I picked was the same year as the Boris. Is that true? 82? Was that what it was? 82. Wow. Anyway, congrats, Alfredo. This Gary Martin is awesome. And it's got 6 comments on it so far. Deservedly so. Did Marcus? Well, of course, Marcus got it. And Derek got it. All right. So there you go. Well, so I got 2 of your 5. What were your other 3? Do you remember?
I don't remember now. I was I like to do my picks way in advance, so I looked at them, 5 days ago.
Okay. Yeah, you did get me your list very early on Monday. I will give you that. And say, and that's cool because I mean most people do. I mean, Chris Snork always gets me his list on Monday morning. I'm always impressed by that because I really have to play catch up. I'm usually really diving in by around Wednesday. So I commend anybody who can stick with it that that faithfully and get the list to me that early. So so Kevin, I think we both did rather well. Good picks for both of us. And I apologize, we ran a little bit late tonight, everybody. I usually, I don't want to go past midnight. And here we are. It's 3 hours and 25 minutes into it. But the conversation with Nick and Dino to start was definitely a lot of fun. I think we, it was the right amount of time for the number of pieces we picked. So I that was fun. We got to talk a little bit more about the artwork, and I will definitely show Marcus's video next week with a few more picks from the best of trophies. So
Bill, at this hour, it's almost like we're a couple of DJs on the midnight to 4 a.m. shift. Like, anyone's still out there playing some sweet melodies for you.
Right. We're like Art Bell now. We could start talking about flying saucers and werewolves. That's for the next hour, everybody. If you want to hang with us, we'll if it's supernatural, we'll be talking about it.
Request lines are open.
Our first guest, knows a thing or two about astral projection. It's Alan Moore. Right, so, thank you for calling for that reference earlier. But definitely a lot of fun, Kevin. I appreciate it, and again, thank you to everybody for hanging with us for so long tonight. It was a lot of fun, and a lot of variety in tonight's show. Thanks. I appreciate Jiggy coming on and the artwork that I got. That was so. I can't tell them how thankful I was to get those pieces. Those were gorgeous. The artists outdid themselves, to do those. So all around great. But Kevin, hang for a few minutes for us so we can talk after the show.
Yep.
But everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. And I've got tomorrow off, but I do have a show. I didn't even show my schedule tonight. But so just to remind everybody what we got going on. Of course, Nick's show is tomorrow, 7 to 8. But I've got a show at 2 p.m. on Saturday with Howard Chaykin. Plenty of new artwork from him and pieces that didn't sell on prior shows. I think I'm getting them all, and are going to be discounting those. So there's gonna probably like 15 new pieces, and I believe 10 pieces we've had before that will be deep discounted to sell them, because he's like, I made them, I want to sell them with you. So that'll be on Saturday, and then on Sunday I'll be doing a show with Nick Barucci for Fat Jacks, another fundraiser for them, at 2:00 as well. So if you're available to tune in on Sunday, please do that. Nick and I will be hanging out. We'll have some art for sale and some books for sale, and all of that going to benefit Fat Jacks. So very busy weekend after my day off tomorrow. So thanks, everybody, and good shower. Yeah, good shower. I could probably use that after a 3.5-hour show. Good night, everybody, and we'll see you again on Saturday. See ya.